What's going on, y'all? I actually turned the mic on. Hello. René, what up? Hello, hello, hello. I'll say in advance, we do have a little bit of housekeeping. And I am pretty hungry. So I'll be making food first. While I wait for everybody to come in. But yeah, also I have not downloaded the game, actually. So let me do that. Yeah. Fucking... That's gonna be fast as fuck. Trust me, bro. This shit is on 2 discs? That's crazy. Why the fuck? I knew I had some other stuff to do beforehand anyway. I knew there was enough time, so... Yep. Literally, the download is already done. I just gotta... Oh, yeah. So good. Oh. There's a couple things I'm gonna do. I'm gonna wait for people to come in. We'll do a couple updates. And then we'll get, and then, actually wait, yeah. I'll prepare the setup. I'll make food. By that time, people will be on stream. Actually, I should, the Denims thing where you just go off screen and occasionally comment on a random video for the first 2 hours of your stream. Does she do that? That's awesome. Okay. Oh my god. Wait 1 second. No. Damn. See, I know that on Twitter, technically, URLs are algorithmically suppressed. I just don't care, dude. I feel like the logistics of obscuring it or getting around it are just not worth it. Are just not worth, because people are just too fucking lazy, you know? I think your followers will probably still mostly see it, and they would rather have a clickable URL. Guys, my acne, you can't really see most of it on camera. I hid it pretty well, but my forehead acne is fucking bananas today, bro. Oh my god. I've just accepted, okay, I'm going through like massive skin purging right now. I just need to put my hat down, deal with it, and keep streaming, you know? I'm very self-conscious about it, but yeah. She starts with some mild reactions while she's getting ready so the viewers can come in, and then when she's done, she'll come on and do her stuff. Cool, cool. That's a good strat. Okay, let's see. Wait, I mean, we're literally... This is a slow day. We're 2 people on YouTube, 3 people on Twitch. This is a very slow day. Okay. Let's see. How does it work with, like, multi-disc games again? How does it work again? Where's Metal Gear Solid? Okay, you just put both discs in a folder. Cool. Okay. And because I have the setup for it, I can use an authentic PlayStation controller, PlayStation 2 in this case, which is good enough for me. Okay. Jenny, how do you feel about that song? It's kind of a banger. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of a banger, in my opinion. But you're... Oh my god. Oh my god, oh no. Okay guys, I have this fancy PlayStation adapter, and I almost fucking broke it. Oh my god. That is terrible. Holy shit. I hope I didn't break it. Oh my god. Ugh. That's crazy. That was way too easy. I can show you all what I mean. I don't know that song. Damn, okay. So, this is the controller adapter. And, like, the fucking player 2 port, it bends. It was like 90 degrees. It just bends a full 90 degrees, dude. Oh my god. I was cheaping out on this. They sell it, like, with a shell, usually. And I bought it without the shell to save some money. That was a bad idea. I should not have done that. I should not have done that. God damn it, dude. I'm so mad right now. Okay. Let's see, we're 5 people on Twitch. Hello, hello. The setup is mostly ready. Oopsie. Wait. Bam. I have my washing machine on in the background. I hope that's not too bothersome. I recently leveled it a little bit, and now it doesn't rattle as much anymore. That was a big handyman moment. Okay. Ugh. Okay. We're ready to go anytime with the game. Like I said, I'll make food real quick. And then we'll go over some stuff and then we'll play games. We'll play the video game. I'll put my mic like this to shorten the distance. So I can still hear me. Yeah. Oh, you may have noticed I changed the layout of this a little bit. Super cool. Guys, do y'all know that video? It's like a supercut of XQC's eating habits. And like, I mean, that guy is a fucking literal millionaire, and he eats like he's just completely broke. It's so awesome. I'm confident that his mom never taught him how to cook. So son, I was saying that I'm promoting Gamba. What do you mean by that? I have a dog shit X2C impression actually. That's not good at all. That was not good at all. I don't know, I think people are sort of down on Latinx. KK Tamina apparently has a closet full of nothing but cup noodles. That's awesome. When I was in America, my roommate was definitely that type of guy. Like, will need a woman in his life to survive type of guy. Literally my first week of living with this dude, he just got an insane stomach infection. Vomited everywhere. Sorry, CW vomit. And like, from the way he was eating, I was like, no shit, dude. It was so bad, dude. It was so gross. Okay, guys. One thing that I have like war flashbacks about constantly. Like, I was in the car with my two friends from Chicago, Vaughn and Joey. And I told them all the roommate stories. I told them just how bad his hygiene was, and how bad his eating habits were, and like, just completely disgusting shit, right? That I don't want to repeat. And then Vaughn completely, like, nonchalantly, he's black, completely nonchalantly asked me, was your roommate white? And I was like, no, he's black. And then I was like, can we just not talk about it? And they both just laughed their ass off. God. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it's not my business. It's not my business. That man, he definitely fit a certain stereotype. I'm not saying that confirms the stereotype. I'm not saying that. I didn't say that. I didn't ask. I didn't make the insinuation when I was in the vehicle. It's not my business. Yeah, do you all want to know any specific stories? I don't know. I can't even remember most of the shit anymore. I think the one thing I remember is like, okay... God, what was it? It's like, it's too gross, bro. It's too... I mean, the big thing was like, okay, I did learn American men, they do not like to sit piss, even when they are at home. I've talked about this before. I've litigated this before. They do not like to sit piss, generally. And when I was talking to Vaughn and Joey about it, like, Joey was, he's Assyrian. And he was, like, staunchly against sit pissing. He would only sit piss to, like, piss me off. To do, like, as a troll move. Whereas Vaughn, he was like, I'm open to sit pissing, yeah. I do it occasionally. And I'm like, yeah, you seem like that kind of guy, yeah. Like, for Americans, sit pissing is a sign of, like, bouginess, I think. And to me, the concept, I get it, right? If you're in a public space, public bathroom, whatever. Okay, it's too gross to sit down, I get it. If you're at somebody's home, or in your own home, why would you not just sit piss? Like, holy shit, bro. And, like, if you're not gonna sit piss, at least make sure that your aim is true. My roommate's aim was not true. He was not a good aimer. And he was on Call of Duty all day. So, I don't know. This is like, the stream has been going for 20 minutes, and I've already been insanely racist. You're about to drive through Chicago. Oh, I forgot. Oh, that is prophetic. That is prophetic. Yulia, I think you know all the roommate stories, right? You remember some of the stuff. Ugh. Okay. I'm almost out of chocolate cereal. Actually, I mean, this is like mostly crumbs now. This is not salvageable. Well, whatever. Like, the way he would reuse cooking oil was so gross. It was so disgusting. Ugh. 99% of the time, he would only eat frozen food anyway. God, oh, so bad. That was also the reason, I mean, at some point I just switched to paper plates. I had literally one set of utensils. I would use it, wash it, that's it. And just keep it in a little corner to myself, because I didn't want him to mess with it, yeah? And I was trying my best to just keep the space clean. Just the kitchen clean. God, there was like, there was this cabinet. Very spasm. He just spilled a fuck ton of strawberry jam in that cabinet. And, uh-oh. Oh, fuck. This looks good, actually, so. Okay, the banana, accidentally, either me or Yulia, we ripped off the thing at the top. So it was open for a little bit. But I think it's actually fine. See, this household, we actually eat fruit almost every day. I will say, okay, it's a little soft, but it's okay. It's not too bad. If it weren't for Yulia, I probably would not be eating veggies. Literally, when I cook for myself, I eat onions, garlic, bell pepper, spring onions. That's it. That's all I eat in terms of veggies. And like, it takes effort for me to like, I like all that shit. I like eating it. But I often get lazy. I'm like, don't eat onions today. I was eating a lot of bananas as well when I was in America. A lot of banana, a lot of apple. But always like with cereal, usually. Honestly, I think I'm a pretty self-sufficient guy. I think my diet is not that bad. The one thing is that when I cook for myself, I don't eat a lot of meat. I eat very little meat. Mostly out of laziness as well, and like it's just expensive, you know. So. I will say, okay, I think the views today, the title and topic for today, definitely a factor. Definitely a factor. Like last stream, where it was DMC clickbaiting, that shit popped off. I need to do more of that. I think it's time for an action game tier list soon. Oh man. I keep showing this. This is my favorite yogurt. It's a soy-based yogurt. Vanilla. Really good. Obviously not as rich in protein as like real yogurt, but yeah, it's just like the yogurty kind of funk. It's not something I'm crazy about. This is just mostly vanilla flavor. And also I'm lactose intolerant, so. Always do this, guys. Always do this. Wolves Den, what up? Hello. Hello, hello. And that's my meal for today. Just a cereal, apple, banana, yogurt bowl. Ugh. Okay. So, I think this will be a very, very chill stream today. Not a lot of craziness today. Let me Wait, why the hell is there no music? Y'all hear the music, by the way? You should. But I'm not hearing it. Huh. Weird. Okay. For some reason... Okay, I think it's just OB... Okay. Yeah. What the hell? Uh-oh. Okay, this works. For some reason, OBS is not... God damn it. Shit. It's because my audio interface, Wait, let me... Okay. Audio. Let's see. The fuck? Sorry for the delay, guys. I'm trying to figure this out. Because I don't hear anything right now. God damn it. Okay. Well, fuck it. I'm not gonna hear music, I guess. And I'm not gonna hear alerts this stream. Whatever. But that's fine. Yeah, y'all can hear it. It's just an OBS issue. It's just on my end. Don't worry about it. Okay. So, the thing I'd like to draw you guys' attention to. Let's see. Let's see. I think that's fine. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. So this is still going as we speak. Okie dokie.
Yeah, they're also, you move so fast you clip through the stage. That is very common on the highest speed class.
That's not disrespectful time suck to me, like the fishing.
Yeah,
out of curiosity.
We are currently ranking well, this is the final part of our 2010s ranking. We ranked the best games of the 2010s. So, there's 3 videos. We had the elimination round on Friday, 2010 to 2014, Saturday, and now today, we're doing the rest. And, I listened to the whole thing yesterday. Myself for the first time in a little bit. And I'm not gonna lie, I was very proud of it. I was very proud of how it came out. I was very proud of everybody who participated. I thought it was a really nice sweet spot between like informative about a lot of games that y'all might not have played, like pretty knowledgeable contributions from everybody, but also we did this sort of free-for-all format, which was just hilariously chaotic, and it got really unhinged at a couple points. Again, from this thumbnail, you can probably guess, I imply in the title, absolutely nothing got snubbed. And the background is, you know, 1 for 101. You might have some ideas for what that's hinting at. Yeah. Like, I was really shocked. Sorry. Just listening back, how funny and dynamic a lot of moments were in that little cast. Oh yeah, I love Wonderful 101. It's one of my favorite games. I love that game. Even though it does have a lot of flaws. So yeah, please check these out. Please check this out. Please check out the channel. Please subscribe. Yeah. I mean, for the summer, we haven't made concrete plans yet. But there's a couple games we're kicking around to cover. Again, Beach and Game Club. This is our sixth console generation focused podcast. So PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, GameCube, Xbox, Game Boy Advance, PSP, DS. Those are our main focus. If there's certain games you'd like to see as well, you know, let us know. We do this ranking thing, we do this once a year. Last time we did the 2000s, which was just natural. And next year we will do the 90s. And then after that, I don't know. After that, like the 2020s are still going. The 2020s are still very much going. I think one thing we could do is we could, worst games of 2000. So internally, for fun, the first year we did this was just our favorite games, right? Across the history of the medium. And I feel like now, True Blur, what up? They are fucking fascists. See, what was them? 80s is sort of crazy. We were already doubting that 90s is like, not packed enough. But there's a agenda forming that actually these episodes that we did were bad. 20 is bad. 90s will be the hit. I'm not sure yet. I'll start my research soon. We tried to really take a couple months to prepare ourselves as well and play a bunch of games. Oh yeah, I'm a total console baby. I mean, on Friday, we talked about this idea of like Japanese exceptionalism in our community. That a lot of us just gravitate toward. Like, we have this idea of like, ooh, Japanese games are so like polished or whatever. And we just naturally gravitate toward them. I'm sorry for all the chewing, by the way. I hope it's not too bothersome. So this has been suggested. I'm kind of against it, because to me it's too arbitrary. Like, even with this segment, where it's just games that came out in a time period, we already have so many like logistical problems and people like disagreeing with certain things. For those who listen to this episode, a lot of Japanese games are just good. So one controversial, like not that controversial, but like one slightly interesting moment was when we got to Marvel 3. I don't know where the fuck that is. Should be like 2011, right? Oh yeah, there you go. Wait. So this fucking year. So the immediate first take was like, why is a vanilla Marvel 3? Like, this game is dog shit, actually. Ultimate is way better. I'm like, yes, but like the whole point is just that we're synchronizing the release dates. We always, when we do our voting process through like Google Sheets, that's crazy. We need to agree on one game. We need to pull the votes toward one game because otherwise it just makes no sense, right? And that's why, for the sake of the vote, we say, okay, we just pick the original vanilla release as representative for the game. First release. Like, so if it was across territories, always the first territory where it released. All that shit. But then we can still talk about the game holistically, right? We can still talk about the development of the game, blah, blah, blah. And even then, there's gonna be, like, I know my friend Riff, he was, like, so against this at a couple points. He was like, yeah, I want to vote for Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, you know? I think it's just a better game. And, like, goddamn, I don't know, dude. To me, like, that's, again, you see, like, that's so hard for people to agree on already, when it's, like, literally, we're talking about objective facts, you know? Yeah, this is the one objective release. The first one, you know? Leia, what up? So when we open the can of worms that is, like, genres, I see only darkness ahead. I feel like with genres, there's gonna be so many. Especially if we did something like action games. What the fuck does that mean? Audrey, hello. If you don't mind continuing that convo about Japanese auteurs, do you think Hiroshi Iuchi counts? Oh, you know what? Okay, see, the second part is interesting about IGN. I'm aware of Hiroshi Iuchi. He's also worked on game. I think he's worked on Kokuga on the 3DS, which is pretty cool. Pretty weird, obscure game. I get what you're saying, that he has a special status in the genre. Like, I feel like you think about a writer like Simon Parkin from Eurogamer, right? This is a guy that I followed a lot back in the day. I think now he has like a little podcast and he writes for The Guardian a lot. And you always have this angle of like, okay, like I want to respect like the craftsmanship of games, right? And like the artistry of making something that's like super mechanical. I think he would like like, there's people like him who would be like, yeah, I want to do an interview with this guy, with Hiroshi Iuchi. because I've like artistically elevated him. And I don't think that's necessarily unfair, you know? But at the same time, yeah, there's a lot of really then great shmups or great works in certain genres that don't get a similar level of attention. I think that's what you're kind of implying, right? That the auteur factor has a lot of power. See, I always tell people, if you're not sure, check IGDB. This website. Which, to be fair, that's for backlogged. Gets his data from as well. Okay, let me lick my plate a little bit. I'm gonna turn off the webcam for a second. Do you think there will be games you can't beat, but you think are worthy of the list? So do you mean like games that are too difficult for me to complete, or like I don't have the time to complete, or that sort of thing? I'll say generally speaking, most of us, probably all of us have voted for games that we haven't played. Just on the basis of like their reputation, and also the way we're doing this format now, the way we did the 2010s format this year was let me show you this. Oops. To be honest, I mean, okay, there's definitely games. There are, I think with arcade games, it's a thornier question, because like, what does beating it mean? Like I have a lot of friends who are really into Battle Garega, for example, and they never did the 1cc, right? They've attempted it a lot of times, but like they're not even close to them. So I think most of us sort of implicitly understand, okay, it's mostly about appreciation and like recognition, like recognizing that the game is great. That's really more important. So yeah, but like me, I mean, okay, if we're talking like 1cc type arcade games, there's a lot of games that I haven't, like, there's very few games that have managed to 1cc that have that type of structure. 1cc, for those who don't know, that's an arcade situation. You put in a coin, and then, generally speaking, you can play until you run out of lives. And if you want to keep playing, you have to keep throwing in coins. But naturally from there, the idea arises, oh, can I do the whole game on one coin, right? That's what you call, 1cc. I think with those types of games, it's much more ambiguous what counts as beating it. There's the idea of credit feeding. So in a modern setting, you obviously the coin system doesn't exist anymore if you have a home version of that arcade game. the way a lot of those games do it is just, yeah, you simulate the coin with a button press. Then for a lot of people, it's sort of like, okay, I'm just gonna credit feed through this game and not really understand it, right? So having to find that balance, like where, okay, I want to appreciate the game, so I can't fully rely on this idea, but also I have to understand that getting it on a single credit is really hard. That takes a lot of fucking practice. So I don't know. I think in those types of scenarios, yeah, that can happen. That I can't beat a game, but like I can't beat a game in this idealized way. But I definitely appreciate it. Me not beating a game at all, like it being too physical. I'm not trying to sound like a big dick gamer. Y'all see me play games. I'm not that good at games. But it is pretty rare. It is pretty rare. I mean, I beat Vanquish on God Hard, right? That's I think that is an achievement. That is genuinely an achievement. Yeah. Most of them are backlogged. You can just look through my friends list. I follow most of them. There. So you should be able to find them. Like, go through my specific friends list. I'll just show you it. Backlog.com. Bam. That's me, Wonder Magenta. Friends. You should be just able to click on my profile, go to friends, and then you just see everybody. Okay. So, last thing I want to do before we play Driver. We're going to play like 2 hours, probably. 2, maybe 3. 3 hours would kind of, like, I started a little late, I'm sorry about that, but, depends on how Renee feels about it. Renee, who requested the game. If I have to end the stream early, I'll do the game again a little bit for like another hour or so. I guess that's a good compromise. I want to recap this whole situation a little more fully next time. Maybe it'd be fun. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all how the ranking turned out in the end, and then I'll do my own personal ranking, right? Or something like that. So the last thing I want to talk about real quick is that Björn, my good friend Björn, he left a little comment here that I thought was really interesting. On my most recent stream. Okay. So let me read this comment out because I haven't. So, okay. Let me read you the comment. I'm not gonna replay the relevant part of the video. So, when I first posted this, I said, can you give the timestamp? I forget what the fuck I said. I remember what he was referring to. I got a little confused because of the framing. So let me just read it. Regarding the scoring segments, I feel like starting from a point of, I feel like these are good scoring games, or these are games with a long history of competitive scoring, and then trying to look for the factors that makes them work is a lot easier than trying to come up with some form of rule set or framework you will probably always find holes in. Also, trying to form an objective anything seems pretty useless unless you want to create a scoring system you can't break. But the enjoyment of it, or how a community will form around it, will always come down to subjective factors. IMO, it's like trying to create an objective framework for a genre. At least, that is what I got from listening to the segments. I think it's worthwhile to apply some form of methodology in researching this, though. And then, yeah, and then he said he wants to discuss it more. Honestly, like, maybe I should get on his stream to talk about this a little bit. I think that would be really interesting to his audience. So, if you follow my recent output, I've been very focused in my academic work on what I call mechanical depth. And that's where I got confused a little bit, because, like, so what I did in this stream is I just randomly started talking about something that was in my head, and I used DMC's scoring system as like an example, right? Of like, oh, the scoring system is like there to like push you toward a certain playstyle, right? But really, it was just an example, right? It was not the actual topic. And then because of how I explained it, Björn thought I was focused on scoring. That's not really what I was focused on at all. So, I'll recap. I actually did a... Oh, you're not supposed to see that. Oh, okay. I did a rant on this a little bit ago. Ranting about depth and richness in games. So if you want to see me talk about it in that context, check that out. But just for Björn, if he wants to see this, if he wants like my explanation, because I feel like it's easier over just talking, right? So recently I did a university lecture actually, where I tried to present some kind of framework or conception of what I thought was mechanical depth in games. And for me, it was basically trying to find out, okay, what makes challenges in games interesting, or like what makes I stayed away from the word decisions as a term, right? Because I feel like that actually confuses the issue. But usually what we're looking at is like we want games with interesting problems somehow, right? Why does fentanyl feel so good? Oh yeah, there. Okay, so I was trying to figure out, okay, what is like an interesting problem in a game? How do you create that? This is like the most broad way I can explain that. And I called that mechanical depth. Now I would sort of move on from that heading. I would call it something else maybe. But the basic idea of what I called it is, okay, for me, this thing that I'm looking for is the variety and the nuance of factors that are relevant to the player's success, right? So it's important in this framework, in this model that I'm developing. I don't want to sound pretentious, but it is genuinely like, okay, academic work that I'm doing. It's important that the game has some kind of explicit conception of a goal, right? Which could be just survive, get to the end of the level, something like that. Win-loss. It could be scoring, right? And that's why we talk about scoring. And then different game elements, different like mechanics or challenges somehow have to relate to the goal, right? And clearly from what I'm saying, you can tell, okay, there's something there. There's sort of a vague idea here of how to make an interesting, good game, right? And the part where I'd be interested to have a conversation with Björn is like, okay, trying to form an objective anything seems useless. So with this framework, right, or with academic work in general, what you're doing is you feel like you've recognized a pattern in the real world, and you want to make a hypothesis, you want to form a hypothesis about that pattern, and explain it, find evidence for it, and sort of systematize it, right? You want to explain the phenomenon that you're finding. And in my case, the phenomenon I'm finding is, okay, some games have this thing. They have, again, what I originally called mechanical depth. I think there's a turbo button video actually that a lot of people I think are familiar with. I think that is that is a good example of like the colloquial understanding of depth, right? This is like what the average gamer would understand under depth. I think this video hasn't aged super well. I think Turbo Button, if he did it now, he'd probably approach it very differently. There's a lot of sort of just very general assumptions, right? Now, again, when I'm trying to explain a phenomenon, I'm not trying to make an objective rule set or something, right? For, oh, this is how a good game works. I'm trying to find patterns that seem somehow universally applicable, and then once you recognize those patterns, you can work with them, right? So, good example, good, easily understandable example for me, and a game that I've been focusing a lot was Ghosts and Goblins, specifically Resurrection, but like this applies to most of the series. So in my original definition of this framework, I said one point that I focused on was the nuance of factors relevant to the player's success. So in the case of Ghosts and Goblins, zombies, they spawn from the ground. And the way they spawn is dynamic, in the sense that they don't always spawn from the same location. Instead, they can spawn on any x-axis position, right? So you took this element, which is spawn position of the zombie, and you gave it nuance by making it random, right? By making it random on the x-axis. And it's specifically, my goal in this game is, get to the end of the level without dying, right? So, this nuance that you've added directly relates to the goal of the game, right? It directly relates to it in the sense that, now because you did that, now because you added this nuance, you let the enemy spawn in that way, now enemy patterns can overlap in unpredictable ways. I need to be ready for things to be sort of in awkward configurations. I need to plan a couple moves ahead. Like, that nuance that you added made the goal more fuzzy and more problematic, right? Or achieving the goal, I should say. So, nuance in this case, for me, means, I think very generally means scalability. I've mentioned this in the rants that I talked about just now. I mentioned that my instructor, Zunkunik, what up? She referred to this as the difference between integer and float. So, from a programming I had, fucking let me... See, I don't want to say anything wrong. Like, I feel like I know integers are whole numbers, while floats are numbers with decimal places. Integers represent whole... Okay. So... basically what she's expressing is like, okay, there's a lot of granularity between two states somehow. And if I like, I think that is something that is universally applicable. That is something you can find in a lot of game elements. Bro is reacting. This is like a 1 minute video turned into 2 hours 2 hour reaction. So, like I said, if you take this as a general rule, we want to add nuance to game elements. We want to make them scalable. And this applies to the phenomenon that we're perceiving, right? I think that does make sense, right? It's not like, it's I don't think it's like an arbitrary, I'm trying to make a rule set for good games type of situation. You have to, like I said, you have to start with sort of an evidence base, a pattern-based approach. In other situations, does this mean roguelikes are peak? I mean, I think there's an argument there. But then, see, okay. I think one thing that's really important, right? I said the nuance needs to relate to the goal. Consider that I take Arthur's jump in Ghosts and Goblins. We need a roguelike DMC. I don't fucking know about that. You take Arthur's jump, which is a fixed arc. You could add nuance to that by making it controllable. That would literally be more nuance, right? However, I think the nuance is actually anti the goal, right? It makes the goal easier to achieve. It makes the goal more straightforward, right? So if I'm looking at something like Hades, for example, and I'm looking at, okay, the enemy layouts are different every time I play it, right? But they have so much other shit in the combat system that kind of defeats the point of that. Where the nuance doesn't really get to shine at all. I think that is a framework, I think that is broad enough that it's very applicable and that it's very useful. That's kind of what I'm working on. I think that would be a... I'll pitch this to be on. I think this would be a nice topic to talk about on stream. So I hope this was interesting. This is a little bit of tangents. This is something I wanted to talk about. Now we will play Driver 2. I think we have an ad right now on Twitch. So I'll get set up and then the ad will be over and then we're cooking. René, if you want to hop on, by the way, do you want to hop on Discord? Do you want to be on stream? Also, Soul Kibble asks, have you ever considered making a video on enemy gauntlet modes? I can hop on, cool. And how to properly balance them so they are engaging and not tedious. I'm thinking about such things lately. Do you mean like stuff like Horde mode and Gears or Bloody Palace? That type of stuff? I think Bloody Palace in DMC, one thing that I really like is the biggest challenge with those types of modes is the slow build-up. In my opinion. That's the thing that holds them back the most. And for DMC4, there's a mod called DMC4 Hook. And one option in that mod is that it just randomizes the order of the floors, right? The mode itself does not change at all. The layouts themselves do not change at all. It just randomizes the order. And that makes it so much more replayable. Yeah. I think that is a big thing. Dude, I need to finish Trial of the Sword. Actually, maybe when the Switch version comes out, dude, I'll do that. Switch 2 version. Cause like, I tried it on my Master Mode save file, and that shit is impossible. On Master Mode. And like, I've seen runners like do it. And they have to even be able to do it, they have to do like super wacky strategies. I have not listened to much Jamaican music, no. That would fly way over my head, I'm sorry. I'm showing my ass right now. Oh yeah, it's over, dude. It's fucking over. Did you play Dragon's Dogma 2? Have you played it? Did you like it? I fucked around with it. I wasn't feeling what I played, but I want to give it another shot. Yeah, I love Spelunky. I think Spelunky is great. Like, Spelunky is the perfect example where all the nuances relate to each other, right? So yeah. Let me turn on this motherfucker. Yeah, I was referring to you. Yeah. Okay, it's time. Got my dual shock right here. And, the fuck? Uh-oh, why doesn't it work? Okay. Thank you. It's very fitting somehow. It's like, it's the perfect background. Okay. Me. Oh, hell yeah, dude. CRT Cave Story? I do want to replay that. Ugh. Call me it. Okay, it works. I did not break my adapter, thank God. I'll do Tekken 3 for a little bit. Just to test things. Okay, this will be pretty flickery. I think driver should be fine, because, 240p game. Okay, I'll give Renee a call. What's going on, dude? Okay, I'll turn you on. The chat should be able to hear you.
Yeah. Hi, chat. I hope people can hear me well.
They should be able to hear you. You're popping up on OBS. Okay, cool.
All right.
And we should have game audio as well. You seem like a Tekken 3 guy.
I did play Tekken 3 a lot.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I think you know that my gaming history is a little bit unusual from most people you know, probably.
Mm.
And I was not a Nintendo kid at all. I didn't have any Nintendo console before the Switch.
Oh wow, that's insane. Oops.
Yeah, so I was a pure PS1 kid. And so yeah, I have lots of good memories on beating up my cousins on Tekken 3.
Fuck. I'm fucking asking. Okay, so... oh yeah, go ahead.
I am ultra curious to get to see your thoughts on Driver 2. Because, like, I am not expecting that it will turn you into a fan of it. But I hope I can get you to a point where at least it is sort of on your radar and you can sort of respect it. Because I feel like the OG Driver games are not talked about that much anymore today.
So for the chat, this is my friend Renee. He's a very regular viewer. And he requested I play Driver 2, which I know is a sort of legendarily difficult game, and it sort of has a meme status in that way.
The meme status is more in Driver 1. But the thing about Driver 1
is that the one with the parking lot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the one with the parking lot.
Okay.
And that's the whole thing about it. The really hard things about Driver 1 are the first mission and the last mission, and everything in between is smooth sailing.
Okay.
And also, like, I know that the parking lot tutorial has a lot of meme status, especially in Germany. It's like
Yeah.
a game that is like engraved into people's memories here. But it is difficult because the game just doesn't really tell you what to do. So you get a checklist of stunts that you have to perform, but you don't get context on how much or how are you supposed to go about it. And you also have like an annoying clock in the background. But if you just hang around in the menu, the game will display you a video that shows you exactly what you have to do. So
Oh, well, okay. Should I watch this cutscene or?
yeah, you should watch the Driver 2 cutscenes because they're cheesy and fun.
All guesses play even. Well, Lemmy's gonna show next. If Kane gets
Wolves then asks, do you prefer Driver over the Getaway? You seem like the Getaway kind of guy.
so what is it Lenny knows?
I did not have the Getaway.
Oh, wow, okay. Do you know about it? Do you know what the whole thing with it is?
I don't, and I am curious about it right now.
It's, it was an open world game on the PS2, but it was very story driven, and it had this very cinematic presentation where the character had a lot of bespoke animations. There was a cover system, which was kind of crazy for the time. The graphics were very ambitious. It did not have any HUD elements either. Your health was conveyed sort of through your character. Where you had to turn with your car was conveyed through like the turn signals on the car. You did not have a map or anything like that. It was like the most quintessentially British game as well. It was like a Guy Ritchie film basically.
So the fact that it's called The Getaway tells me that it might be inspired by the movie The Getaway from the 70s. Which is very interesting because Driver is also inspired by a 70s car film, which is The Driver. Funnily enough, I think The Getaway was written by Walter Hill, and The Driver was directed by Walter Hill. So Walter Hill is like one of those 70s directors that has definitely had an influence on this mini genre, I guess. But what is funny
This was pretty impressive.
is that Driver 1 has like all the memes about the tutorial level and such, and like this a reputation for being notoriously hard. I think Driver 2 is much harder than that.
Okay.
I will tell you, I made it through Driver 1. I never made it entirely through Driver 2.
Really? Okay. So I feel like that would be that's a piece of information that's like, okay, maybe I'll have to finish this one. Okay.
There is one thing, and I will warn you right off the gate, that will annoy you. And that is this game is kind of slow at loading because the map is so big for its time that while you're driving, the game basically slows down and freezes for a few moments so it can load up the map before you.
The button layout is already very interesting.
I think you should have no problems getting through Chicago. Chicago is the first city you will visit in the story. It gets harder with Havana. It gets insane with Vegas.
Okay. So what is Take a Ride? Is that just sort of a leisure kind of mode, or?
Yeah, Take a Ride is basically you are not doing missions. You can just drive around, and it will inevitably lead to you being pursued by the cops. There are some cool features in the Take a Ride mode in Driver 2. I will probably talk about it later, but I think you want to go undercover. That's where the challenging part is. I'm also not hearing the in-game sound because I muted the stream so I can hear you on the call. That seemed like the more sensible decision.
Yeah.
So just so everyone who's listening in, I have... Like, I know the song that is playing right now, I can hear it in my head, but I'm not actually hearing it right now.
I could feed you the OBS feed. Wait, let me figure that out. And then you can hear it. Actually,
I think you will
that's not gonna work. Yeah.
dig the first part because it's Chicago and it's a lot of night driving.
Okay. Chicago is definitely one of those cities where I did not spend enough time in. I definitely want to go back. I got a pretty surface level impression. I didn't even properly get to see the
Bean?
The bean.
Did
the
you
bean.
go see the bean?
I saw it like from very far away. There was like construction all around it when I was there. So annoying.
So it's like Kölner Dom, but in Chicago, basically.
Exactly.
To the non-German viewers, Kölner Dom is the Cologne Cathedral.
Yeah.
Which is the famous monument of Cologne, which is where Ziad lives in.
Yeah.
And it's also famous for being under construction all of the time.
Yeah. I was at the Tyler, the Creator show in Cologne a couple weeks ago. And he was like, y'all church is crazy. I don't know about the food, but he was very impressed with the Langsess Arena as well. So that's cool. I felt proud of that. A little bit of national pride, city pride.
So to give you a little bit of context of what is going on. So the guy with the tie and the shotgun, that's Jericho. That's basically the villain of the game. And you will try to find out what happened during this bar murder. And the guy who is fleeing here is called Pink Lenny. And he's the witness of what happened here. And basically you have four major characters. You are Tanner, an undercover cop, who is one of the blandest video game protagonists of all time, probably. Yeah, that's you, the white guy with short haircut. And yeah, you have like a partner, which is Jones.
No. Tell him, Tanner.
And those are the big four in the storyline. You, your partner, and you will have to go to some seedy drug underbelly. Like Driver 1, I already gave a hint that it's very much inspired by 70s car movies, and it's especially Walter Hill's work. I think Driver 2 has like more modern influences, so this touches more like on the buddy cop movie and like, hey, let's go undercover and do some research on the Brazilian drug cartels and such. So Driver 1 was pretty much a period piece. Driver 2 feels way more modern.
Okay. I mean, this is a pretty late PS1 game as well. I think I saw it 2000. Yeah. Like PS2 was, I think in Japan it was 1999. So yeah. This is like sort of an open world game, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of
Sort
insane.
You have like 4 cities you can explore. You start off in Chicago, then you go to Havana, then you go to Las Vegas, then you go to Rio de Janeiro. And which are very, very cool cities to have as maps in, especially this early of a game. And yeah, you can explore Chicago and Havana from the beginning. If you want to explore Las Vegas and Rio, you have to basically unlock it in the story mode first.
I was just fucking around. Chili, what up?
Yeah, because I'm watching the game audio on Twitch, I will probably have a slight delay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just fucking around in the fucking
Yeah.
backlog.
So you have already been fucking around with the big innovation that Driver 2 brought to the table.
Get ready to make a move.
The thing that was new with Driver 2 is that you can actually exit your car and enter and use any other car in the game.
Oh, okay.
That was the new shit. Like, if you play Driver 1, the cutscenes are much more simple. You are basically only listening to messages from your speakerphone. Then you get a mission, and then you start inside the car, and you have to do every mission inside your car. And Driver 2 actually lets you get out of the car, switch cars, explore the map. So, really, Driver 2 was 3D GTA before there was 3D GTA. They were very, very early on with this.
I'm just kind of insane, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I find the PS1 console so fascinating. Because on the PS1 you have a lot of games that feel like very essential or even influential transitional games. But no one really talks about them anymore because, like, I guess the console is not held in as much of a high regard as the N64 is or the Dreamcast is.
I don't know about that. I think, honestly, most of the bubbles that I'm in are like, yeah, the N64 had like 2 games. and the PS1 had just this insanely vast library where, okay, there was a lot of trash on it as well, but,
there sure was.
yeah, just through volume, it's what totally just dwarfs the N64. Now, obviously, the N64 was a much more capable system in terms of 3D. But then, you know, it just didn't have the third-party support that the oh my god, the frame rate that the PS1 had. For a lot of reasons. So I don't know. I guess I wonder, how does chat feel about that? Like, I think in my bubble, my perception is definitely the PS1 is way more beloved. But also, I mean, there's the whole Nintendo YouTuber industrial complex, so that's a whole thing.
Yeah, and I think people have just more nostalgia for the Nintendo library in general. Like, if you played it as a kid, there are like the big Nintendo games that everyone gravitates to and that everyone knows. And I think like the PS1 had so much on it that like not everyone is aware of like the entire catalog.
It's
like,
not as centralized, I guess, yeah. Wow.
Like, one thing that I find funny is like when you talk about like the evolution of the first-person shooter genre. It usually goes like, so yeah, it was started by Wolfenstein and Doom, and then there was like 6 to 7 years of nothing, and then you get Counter-Strike and Call of Duty as milestone games eventually.
And GoldenEye,
like,
I guess.
Yeah, and GoldenEye. But on the PS1 you had like the Medal of Honor series.
Yeah.
And I think that people don't really talk a lot about the first Medal of Honor game like as an essential middle piece in that evolution chain, where I am actually quite convinced that if there wasn't the first Medal of Honor game, which puts you right at World War II and gives you a story campaign and things to do and such, maybe we wouldn't have got to the point where Call of Duty became like the biggest thing ever. And I think there is a very, very good argument to be made about Driver and its influence on the GTA series as well.
Get ready to make a move.
Zach, hello, what up? I will say, So my immediate first thought on that is like, where the fuck do I go? By the way, I don't see where the the witness is. Oh, show
so
map
if you-
maybe.
Yeah, if you look at the map, you have like a big black cone,
Oh, okay.
and I think it will appear once you get in the car. And yeah, you
Yeah.
have this huge cone, and
It narrows as I get closer to the target, right?
yeah, at the helm of the triangle, you have like the point where you have to head to.
Okay. This is an interesting way to do it. So there's this thing that went viral a couple years ago. There was this alien first-person shooter horror game on the PS1. And there's a legendary review by GameSpot where they say the most horrifying element of this game is its controls. You strafe with the left analog stick and look around with the right analog stick. And it's like, if you pay attention, that's how every game works now.
Yeah.
Like, they were not, that control scheme, today it feels so natural, it makes so much sense, and like, clearly the developers of that game, they sort of realized, oh yeah, this is a good way to map it, right? They intuitively kind of got there, but the world just wasn't ready for it yet. I find that kind of interesting. I think a lot of it is the PS1's lack of capability in 3D. I mean, it was pretty impressive that you had a port of Quake 2, for example, on the PS1 that actually is pretty good. But I think overall, it just wasn't associated with first-person games as much as the N64. Because the N64 again has an analog stick kind of built in. It has a much easier time rendering bigger worlds. But then, like, you look at this and it's like kind of crazy impressive.
Yeah, so if you're curious or if you're interested, I picked out some release dates for you to basically sketch out the history of Driver, GTA, and the rivalry, the very real rivalry at the time
Yeah.
between those two franchises. So, Driver comes out June of 1999. And just as I described, you have like a 3D model of 4 cities. You get to explore Miami, San Francisco, New York, and Los Angeles in that game, which you might recognize as 4 cities that the GTA series ended up focusing on. Plus Vegas. Yeah, Driver did that in 1999. And you had like city models. There was not much you could not leave the car. You were always like confined to your one vehicle, but you also had like the period piece storyline that GTA would eventually get to with Vice City, and there was like a lot to explore, but all the missions were also very, very car focused. You have to leave the car and enter Jones's car.
Yeah, see, I know. I just forgot what button it is.
It should be triangle.
Triangle. Because I think it says handbrake for triangle. But I guess when I stand still, it turns into... Wait. No, dude. Triangle was definitely... It was getting into the car, but I can't get... Oh my god. Ah! Wait. What the hell? Driver... Doesn't say. Driver to exit car. Up and triangle. Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, okay. So I told you Driver 1 came out in June of 1999.
Yeah.
October 1999 is the release of GTA 2. So by the time Driver came out, GTA was not there wasn't even GTA 2 on the market, and GTA was still doing top-down stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the series at this point are not very connected to each other because like GTA lets you shoot. Like the one big difference is that you have guns in GTA, and everything that happens in Driver happens like at the inside of your car. A year after Driver 1, in November 2000, Driver 2 comes out, and Driver 2 has like I already told you the big innovation is that you can hop on and out of the car, that you have like more possibilities to explore the map you're in. And we talked about the take a ride feature, which is basically leisure mode where you can just explore the map on your own without being confined to missions. And that there is one cool feature about Driver 2 is that when you're playing free mode, every map has like a secret car that you can only get at one specific location, and usually you have to leave the car and navigate like a specific area of the map and push some buttons, and due to exploration you are then rewarded by having like a secret cool car.
Oh fuck.
So that was something. I think Driver 2 was very, very ahead of the curve.
Yeah. I can definitely feel that even though I'm playing right now, man. It's kind of crazy.
I think Rockstar noticed that they have to keep up with the Driver series, because Driver was insanely popular as a series back then. Like, those two games sold very well. And they released GTA 3 in October of 2001, so a year after this. And I think it is right to call GTA 3 one of the most influential games of its time, probably, because you don't get to have like open world exploration and the GTA series as it is today without GTA 3, but I think it's pretty apparent that it took definitely some good inspiration out of Driver, and especially Driver 2.
Yeah, I think the argument for that is pretty strong now, especially because like the iteration times for games were so much shorter. Like, I don't know what the total development time for GTA 3 was, but like there was like more than a year between those games from what you said, right? So back then that was like forever, right? Now that's sort of nothing, but back then it was very, you could see a game and like iterate on it pretty quickly.
So that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Because I think after Driver 2 Reflections messed up, I don't know the history of Driver 3, but I told you GTA 3 came out in October of 2001. Vice City came out of October of 2002.
Yeah.
And especially Vice City became, again, the biggest thing ever of its time. And like Rockstar adapted the formula and kept pushing the envelope, and I think Driver 3 was in developmental hell for a very, very long time. And you notice that by the time they released Driver 3 is a mess of a game. It's unpolished, and you notice that like they felt the need to have to keep up with the GTA series, so they had to add a gun system, and like shooting in Driver 3 is not fun at all. And everything feels like an afterthought, and also visually it's taking heavy inspiration from Vice City. So basically you get, as soon as Driver 3 comes out, a shittier version of Vice City that couldn't compete, couldn't keep up. And they released Driver 3 in June of 2004.
Oh my god.
So
San Andreas is already out, right? was about to be out?
It was basically 4 months before the release of San Andreas.
It's just fucking insane.
So yeah, like after Driver 2, within 2 years, Rockstar had put out GTA 3 and Vice City, and there was nothing coming out of the Driver series anymore.
Yeah.
And when it eventually did, Rockstar was very, very short to publish, very, very short ahead of publishing San Andreas, and that's basically when this video game series went to die.
Yeah. Do you know what like Reflections what they did before Driver?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Cause like I wanna think it's just that Rockstar, they had probably so much more time to like really ramp up their developments bit by bit. Whereas with Driver 3, they just very suddenly tried to compete with GTA and they just bit off way more than they could chew. That's the impression that I get. Oh my god. I do know from what I saw is that Driver 3, even though I should insist on using its real title, Drive 3 or it is a like technically pretty impressive game. I remember John Linneman from Digital Foundry, he like tweeted about it, that they had like all these crazy reflections and all that, and shadowing system. They tried to do a lot. It's kind of nuts.
Yeah, so Reflections and Rockstar have a history of swapping digs at each other in their games at the time. And Driver 3 was very, very proud that you can swim in their game, like it was pointed out in chat, which you couldn't do in Vice City. And they even have like some cutscene where they show a person that is very, very heavily implied to be Tommy Vercetti, wearing what's Schwimmflügel? Do you know?
Oh god, Schwimmflügel. I know it.
So it's basically like swimming helps for children,
Yeah.
because they can't swim on their own, and they had a huge chip on their shoulder about that whole swimming thing, which nobody else really cared about, because like swimming is not a central mechanic of the game.
Yeah.
And when San Andreas come out, San Andreas had much better swimming mechanics, and like they were riding this wave from June to October, and that's it. And meanwhile, there is a famous cutscene in San Andreas when you are breaking into Mad Dog's mansion, where one of his goons is playing Driver 3.
No.
which is not stated out loud, but they heavily imply that it is. And he basically complains about refractions. They call it refractions instead of reflections, having like shitty game design, and how and they end the cutscene on "Tanner, you suck," which is
I can't
probably
remember.
the funnier dig.
I'm playing San Andreas right now. By the way, hello Dennis, hello in chat. I'm playing San Andreas right now. I feel like I caught that. I definitely did that mission. That's so funny. I will say the way games used to compete with each other back then is so interesting, because like I just like 2 nights ago, I got to this mission in San Andreas where you have to even do the mission, you need like minimum lung capacity, right? And I'm like, bro, this game does not benefit whatsoever from having this stupid fucking RPG system. And back then it was so just this arms race of having to have all these fucking features with no regard of whether they actually enhance your game or not, you know? I think the same curse probably befell Driver 3. Fuck.
So what you're doing right now, the game opens up in Chicago, and this is basically the tutorial map of the game.
Yeah.
Because the missions here are fairly easy. You learn how to control the vehicle, and it's usual, like they show you like types of missions will be that you will encounter on the rest of the game. A lot of it is very, very time limit heavy, and like, yeah, this is a pursuing mission. This is just getting from A to B. There will be a mission coming up soon where you have to escape from a warehouse. That is one that I found particularly funny, for reasons you will see. But like, nothing is all too challenging here. And the next city, I think I already mentioned it, will be Havana in Cuba. which is a, such an awesome thing. Like I wish like that's a city that would be explored more often in video games, because like it is very iconic with the way it looks and the streets, and it is very stark contrast to the industrial nature of Chicago.
Yeah.
But also like missions will start getting crazier there.
I'm already getting cooked a little bit, so... Wait, what? The fuck?
I'm behind, so I can't tell you what happened yet.
I was going ahead of him a little bit. Going ahead of the train. Yeah.
By the way, I think this is an introductory mission that I dig a lot. Because like it makes heavy usage of Chicago's iconic train line, that you have to drive like under it and try to catch the train first, and then I think the person changes into an automobile, and then you have to chase after that. So they play a little bit with landmarks of the city, and also like with different kinds of vehicles you can be in pursuit of. And yeah, I think that's fun. I like when games have this. Also, like the entire car pursuit under the train lines has a... You have probably not seen the French Connection, but it has a very French Connection vibe about it.
Yeah, my Chicago experience was interesting because, like, I was there for 2 days. Day 1, mostly in the suburbs, where my friends lived. And then day 2, we wanted to explore downtown, but then we realized, oh shit, it's Juneteenth. And everything was, like, closed down. There was not a soul on the street. So, like, I didn't feel like I got the full Chicago experience for that reason. Oh.
I feel for the full Chicago experience, you probably have to go in winter, because I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a city that is famous for having heavy snow.
Yeah. It was very warm when I went. Fuck. Okay. Dude, I'm already getting cooked. Like, I was not familiar with your game.
So I was curious about, because I know that you had a Crazy Taxi arc recently.
Yeah.
So which is a driving heavy game from around this time. So I thought you might have an advantage, but I told you, like, this game has very, very slow loading times. I think it could have improved on the gameplay settings, like which buttons you use and such. It requires a certain amount of customization, but like,
Yeah.
it's doable. You can definitely spend some good time with this.
Yeah. I mean, this is definitely the opposite of Crazy Taxi because the collision system is, like, insanely punishing.
Yeah.
In Crazy Taxi, you can sort of ride along the walls and not without a care in the world. This is a much more cautious game from what I've played so far. Yeah.
Yeah, you have the damage gog and the felony gog in the upper left corner.
Yeah.
And those are the two main ways the game punishes you. Like, obviously, if your car gets too much damage, you can't drive it anymore, which isn't always a problem, because like you can get out of the car and switch cars, but in this type of mission you can't do it, because like if you have to switch the car, like the train would just get away.
What the fuck?
But because you would spend too much time changing vehicles, so that's an automatic game over. And like, felony is also very, very funny, because it's basically what Driver has that parallels the wanted star meter of the GTA games. But if your felony goes up, basically you have more and more cops coming after you more aggressively. and they will just try to trash and total your car without hesitation.
Oh, that's
the more
awesome.
it fills up.
So the manual says the L1 button lets me hard steer, but I don't really know what that means.
Probably drifting.
It doesn't seem to change my steering very much, I don't know. Oh my god. Yeah, I will say, I mean, I'm very impressed with the scope of this game. For the hardware. It does seem to me like a moment of, okay, they were so curious whether they could pull this off on a PlayStation 1 that they didn't consider whether they should. Because, like, there's definitely, I mean, like, there's stuff like Ridge Racer on the PS1, right? Where it's a pretty tight racing game. Oh my god. And this feels so soupy.
So if they probably would have waited for the PS2 and have tried to make this more compatible with the PS2,
Yeah.
instead of like a game that is probably unfairly not put in high regard, because like this is kind of very ahead of its time what they're trying to do, but they
Yeah.
also like shot themselves in the foot by bringing this out too early on PS1 instead of maybe having like a great launch title for the PS2, because this
Yeah.
would absolutely have cooked if they had waited for a little bit more.
Yeah, like, you have to consider, I mean, this came out the same year as Ridge Racer 5 on the PS2, which was a launch title for that console, and it's like, oh my god. I mean, obviously Ridge Racer 5, not an open world game, but you know, like Dennis was saying in chat, sort of 3 times the frame rate. Just really tight handling. God damn. I think I do have to get ahead of him a little bit. Oh man.
Yeah, it's crazy ambitious and what it's trying to achieve.
I do respect that.
Yeah, there are definitely some very, very famous missions. Well, famous in quotation marks. Like, it's famous if you care about the first 2 driver games. But like, they have some missions that are kind of well known for being a little bit of harder to get through.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has a get good vibe about it.
Fuck! God damn it. Yulia was just here for like 1 second. Yulia, you can come back if you want. She saw I was like locked in and talking to the microphone. Do you want to say hello to chat? I'm talking to Renee right now as well. Wait,
Hi, Yulia.
I can turn on the speaker. Wait.
No, it's okay.
He should be able to hear you. You should be able to hear him now.
Hello.
Hello. Can you give me
An
an apple?
apple? Sure, of course. Okay.
This is so funny because due to the lag, everything that is happening right now, I can't see it on the screen yet. So it feels like I'm time traveling.
Yeah, yeah. Like, he's hearing us on Discord, before we show up on the stream. Yeah.
It's okay, you don't have to wash.
No, I need to wash it.
It's the tiniest apple melon.
Wash it. How do you feel about driving games?
That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. This is enough of wash. I want the...
Are you saying I'm washed?
No, I didn't say that. That's enough. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, do y'all like Action Hall? Yulia is obsessed with him. He's like her favorite guy.
I'm not obsessed.
You are. Oh, whoa.
What?
I was tripping now. Okay. Bye bye, Yulia.
Bye.
Okay.
By the way, it's funny that you talked about Björn at the beginning of the stream. Because I have made Björn play this on stream as well.
Oh yeah.
So basically you are in secret competition to each other. Right now.
How far did he get? Did he have an easier time with this so far?
I think he was quicker with Chicago. But you know how Björn has like his specific type of ADHD, and he was also locked in at some point. I think he had fun, but he was having a hard time with the Havana missions. And I was optimistic that you might make it to Vegas and within the stream.
Hell no.
I think it will be funny to see you get to the heavier Havana missions, but I'm not optimistic anymore about you making it to Vegas, because like Havana is way harder than this.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, like Havana will have missions where you have to pursue a truck, and you have to try to ram the truck off the road, but also the truck is loaded up with bombs, and they keep throwing bombs on the road that you
That's
have
awesome.
to that you have to get out of the way of. So yeah, that's not the hardest mission in Havana even.
Oh my god.
There is like a mission where you have to track down in total 4 different cars, and I think you have a time limit of 7 minutes for it, which is brutal.
God. Okay. I was gonna say, when I was outside of the car as Tanner, my immediate first thought was, oh, this is tank controls. This is a Bjorn game. Maybe I should use the D-pad. Maybe that would help.
So
Shit.
what's funny is that
wait.
you can walk around, but I think that the walking mechanics come more into fruition in the free roaming mode, where you can actually explore like facilities in the game. And so should I spoil to you where the secret car in Chicago is?
Sure.
Because I don't think we will go to that mode. So if you are exploring Chicago in the take a ride mode, you will have to go to Wrigley Field Stadium.
Okay.
So you will have to go to the baseball stadium, and there is a gate that is shut. So you have to go around the stadium to the ticket stand, press a specific button, and then you have purchased a ticket, and the gate will unlock. But there is nothing telling you like press this button. You have to know that you have to go to the ticket stand and press a random button. I don't know if it's circle or square. It's one of those two, but because that is basically your interaction button when you're walking around. But there is nothing indicating to you that that is an
A thing
interaction that you can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to go to the ticket stand. You have to open up the stadium. And then you have to walk basically around the entire baseball stadium. Like you go to the field, you go to the ranks where the people sit, and then you have to go like to the catacombs, and then you get to an underway driving garage, and there is like a muscle car waiting for you that is unique in the game.
Shit, that's over. God damn it. Okay, maybe I can... I feel like there's a way to get through that part, where I don't have to do this fucking snaking course. I feel...
Yeah, I feel like you could just go a little bit on further and take the main street. Because it will
Yeah,
still be
yeah,
easy.
yeah, that's what I just realized. God damn it.
I think when Björn completed this mission, he made it just in the nick of time. That was sort of epic. Because I think the end of this mission is that you have to get out of the car and pursue the guy on foot and like get to the train tracks on time and like catch them when they're leaving the train.
Okay.
And yeah, I told you at the beginning that I think Driver 2 feels a little bit more modern with its setting, because it's like you with the character of Jones adds like a buddy cop movie element to it.
Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
And you're tracking down the cartels, so it doesn't feel as 70s anymore. This is more like late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, the frame rate. Okay, oh my god. When you just take the main street, this is easy as fuck.
Yeah, I think Björn had like the same problem, that he focused on the snake parkour, and that will just slow you down.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god. See, this is actually a game with spatial reasoning. This is actually leveraging the open world design really well.
I mean, I'm already happy because you seem to be having fun with it, and like to be at least intrigued of what the game has to offer. So that is already above what I was hoping for.
I'm nothing if not tenacious here. If I'm presented with a challenge, I will accept it. Usually. Okay, where will you turn? I have to wait.
That's exactly why I always wanted to show you this game. Because I have been telling you like in private that I think this game is rather challenging, and that there is like a real element where you have to learn the mechanics and get good, and you have to learn missions and, stuff, and it actually challenges you to get through the game. And I thought you might respect it.
Ah! Well, you'll see on stream in a couple seconds.
That's the running to the platform part I was
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
Okay, I'll get it this time. This is not that hard.
You have to park right in front of the steps.
Yeah. The problem was I was waiting for the train. Because I didn't know where it would turn. And then I didn't realize I had to stop immediately after. Yeah. Okay. This is not too bad.
Now you got the spot. I think now you've got a hang of it. And I don't know why I found the escape the warehouse mission that you will get to eventually so funny as a kid. But I want to see how you do with it. Because there is like a slight frustrating element to it. But it's also fun.
See, this is sort of tangentially related, but how do you feel about the GTA games? Do you have sort of a ranking? I feel like you're a big GTA head, probably.
I am a GTA head to a point. Because like I basically had a long year period where I was not keeping up with video games because I didn't have the money for them.
Yeah.
So basically I skipped the entire PlayStation 4 generation, and I only came back in a generation after. I think if you look at it narratively, the best GTA game is probably GTA 4.
Yeah.
Because I love the message, I love the story. That's really the closest GTA ever came to be actual satire. And you know, we are both migrants, or at least children of migrants where we
Yeah.
live. So I like that like GTA 4 is dark as fuck with Nico's storyline, coming to America, falling for false promises, and getting into a life of crime immediately. Like, I get when people say that it's sort of the declining point for the GTA series because like it focused on being more like serious art than fun in its missions. But I think the story in GTA 4 is probably the strongest. I think mechanically it's probably Vice City. It's very, very hard to beat Vice City in the way they designed their missions.
I'm really curious to revisit GTA 4. It's actually the first one that I seriously played as a kid. I didn't grow up with the PlayStation 2 games. I'm playing them now kind of for the first time. So my sort of emerging opinion is that San Andreas kind of is the jump the shark moment for the series, where they really went all in on the story. They actually tried to take the story seriously. They tried to make CJ especially a much more human protagonist. And then every mission was like a set piece in service of the story. And for me, that's honestly, I'm not fucking with it. It's not working for me at all.
I think San Andreas is just tonally all over the place.
Yes, that's the other thing I was gonna get to.
Because it takes like inspiration like from your hood movies from the 90s, like your John Singleton movies, your Spike Lee movies, and it's trying to make a period piece that takes place during the LA riots, which is not a fun time for black people.
Yeah.
And it has like those heavy themes of police brutality and police corruption and gang violence and such. But then also you have like, yeah, now you're doing CIA missions, bullcrap in it, and suddenly you're breaking into Area 51 and stealing a jetpack, and also there is a train with alien goo, and it's totally all over the place because like there are elements to it that are vastly ridiculous and some that are very, very serious, and it tries to choose the fun side of things for the most part.
Yeah.
Which doesn't feel right with the sensitivity of the topic. I'm not gonna lie, like San Andreas is probably the game I've played the most out of all GTA games. And I think when you talk GTA, people should talk also more about Liberty City stories and especially Vice City stories, which were like I think they were PSP games that Rockstar developed.
Yeah. Rockstar Leads, I think, yeah.
Yeah. And it builds upon both GTA 3 and
Vice City,
Vice
respectively,
City.
yeah.
You play very, very minor characters from these games, so you already know the outcome of the character's fate when you play it. So, like, if you play Vice City Stories, you are playing Lance Vance's brother, Vic Vance, and that's like one of the guys that dies in one of the first missions in Vice City. So basically, you are having a character arc, but you also know that the character arc won't matter that much, because it's a joke figure in the original game that dies immediately.
Yeah.
But Vice City Story has my favorite mission in all of GTA.
Just like the man said.
Vice City Stories has a particular mission that is absolute peak gaming. Because I don't know how they did this or why they did this. Yeah, you have to stay inside the green lane of proximity. But Phil Collins is in the game playing himself. You have
wow, okay.
You have like 3 missions where you are basically acting as Phil Collins' bodyguard. The first two missions are called Kill Phil Volume 1 and Kill Phil Volume 2.
Oh, it's so stupid.
Which is already hilarious. And then you have a mission where Phil Collins is about to be assassinated during one of his concerts. So the mission takes place at an actual Phil Collins concert. You get a full performance of his In the Air Tonight, like with the drum solo and everything, and you are crouching through the concert hall, taking out ninjas while you're listening to the concert performance. It's insane.
That's so funny because I know there's a mobile version of Liberty City Stories, and I was wondering, why did they never do anything with the Vice City Stories? That's probably the reason.
Yeah, that might very well be the reason. Both Vice City games just have the best soundtrack in the series. Also, I hate GTA 5, and it's probably one of my top 5 most hated games.
Wow, okay.
I can't stand GTA 5.
I definitely don't like the story in 5 at all. I can say that. I do think mechanically it's a pretty impressive game. It's a pretty fun game. Shit, what was I gonna say? The thing about San Andreas is that I think CJ is not like an obvious raging psychopath the way Claude and Tommy Vercetti are. Like,
yeah.
He's clearly supposed to be a real human, but then it's still the case that, okay, a random guy that he just met will be like, hey, kill this innocent civilian, and CJ is like, alright, bet. And then the game plays it entirely for comedy, you know? It's not like, oh, okay, this is like a disenfranchised person living in the ghetto who needs to do this out of necessity, which, like, yeah, that's true, sort of in the text of the game, literally speaking. But the way it's conveyed in the story, you don't feel that at all. And to me, that makes it really hard to take seriously. Like, the game is spending so much time, so much emphasis on a story that is kind of stupid. And it's at the cost, I think. I think I was really impressed with Vice City and 3 in the sense that they really leveraged their systems. You really had a lot of missions where, okay, it's just 3 guys on the map, especially Vice City, like 3 cars or 3 bikes on the map, just take them out, run them off the road. And you're just dynamically using the systems that are inherent to the game. Whereas with Vice City, with San Andreas, I feel like they leaned into the immersion angle way too hard. They came up with all these crazy features for the sake of immersion. And most of those features are kind of shallow. You know, it's all these like very shallow mini games or set pieces or whatever. And there's very few. Like, even I'm like pretty deep in San Fierro now, and there's still like really very few missions where I feel like, oh, I'm actually using the open world. I'm actually interacting with other vehicles. Yeah.
There surely is. By the way, this is the escape the warehouse mission. So have fun with this one.
I'm already cooked.
San Andreas is definitely. It's not too hard, but it might frustrate you a bit.
Oh yeah, I hear. Well, I'm playing on the PS2. I know. I think I already got past some of the harder missions, some of the more infamous kind of missions. There was one where you're running alongside a train with Big Smoke. That was a little tricky. That I googled that mission and there was like 8 Reddit threads about it. Like, hey, what the fuck is the deal with this mission? I think a lot of that stuff got way harder in subsequent ports as well. So.
Yeah. I also don't remember the mission is called Wrong Side of the Tracks.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember it being that hard. Especially because, like, if you know your stuff, there are very, very interesting ways to make the mission easier for you. Like, if you know how to land on the train and such, and to take up the map to your advantage.
Ooh, okay.
but I think that is more iconic due to the meme factor of it.
Yeah.
Because like it takes a few tries probably until you get it right, and then you always hear Big Smoke saying, "All you had to do was follow the damn train, CJ," which is frustrating because it's usually not your fault when you're trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
And
in this
yes.
game, there's this constant running theme of everybody just cooking your driving skills. It's so funny. I do think, I mean, so the sort of black culture representation, I think you do have to acknowledge, okay, this is not just insensitive like 2000s game filter, but also it's written by Scottish men, white Scottish men filter. Like, so under that lens, I can see why people like might take issue with it. But like, I do find it genuinely endearing. The just sort of the main cast. Yeah. I feel like oh god. I feel like GTA 4 took, again, I'm sort of judging from memory. Maybe this will not hold up once I actually revisit it, but I feel like the game went much less for breadth and more for depth. They sort of cut out systems that were not that interesting. And, you know, they went really hard on the physics, for example, which to this day, and the whole pedestrian simulation, which to this day I find really impressive. And I do remember the missions just not being quite as gimmicky, so.
What I also like about GTA 4 is that the DLC that you get, like The Lost and Damned and The Ballad of Gay Tony, also expand further on the themes of the game.
Yeah.
Like you're not you're playing other types of immigrants with other experiences, other backgrounds, and they are all characters, minor characters in the main story, and you see how basically all of these immigrants' fates are intertwined by each other by that huge pile of shit that America has promised them, like that Liberty City literally has promised them.
Yeah.
And now they're just taking out each other and living messed up lives of crime. That is also one of the reasons why I actually don't like that GTA 5 introduces Trevor by having him kill the guy from Lost and Damned immediately.
That I was really pissed off by that. That really put me on the wrong foot with the game immediately. Yeah.
It's gutsy. It's definitely a gutsy move. It demonstrates you where you're off with Trevor, but like it really undercuts everything they were building up with Johnny's story. So I don't know. It sits well with me. Like you try to achieve something in The Lost and Damned and to better that man's life, and then you just get some. And it's played for laughs. That
exactly. Like yeah.
Yeah, his life still went to shit. He had to flee town, and his girlfriend is still meth addicted, and now she's being fucked by Trevor. That's. Oh god, that is just so not my humor.
I mean, for me, it's sort of. It turned the dial all the way back to, okay, we take absolutely nothing seriously, and we still spend a huge amount of time on this colossally dumb story. Like I think that's with Vice City and 3, I don't care that the story is like dumb, because like they spend so little time on it, and it's just they're just gamey ass games. With San Andreas and 5, I take way more issue with it because I'm forced to sit through it. So yeah, and I mean with 4 it's really interesting because there is something about the tone I think that will never quite congeal perfectly, because like Nico is always in this internal battle between, okay, sort of he has an inclination toward violence, but he's actually consciously trying to get away from it. And like if once you present the character in that way, does it even make sense that you can just go out and kill random people, right? Yeah. that's a question you could sort of poke at the game a little bit. But at the same time, I do think overall in the story it did work for me. I feel like the tone overall does work in GTA 4. I feel like they question Nico's morality like constantly and explicitly enough that I'm like, okay, this feels somewhat believable. For me, that's the one game where they actually like executed pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I have so much issues with GTA 5. Like, on my list of games that I actually hate, there is GTA 5 and LA Noire on it. So
wow, okay,
that's probably the one publisher to make it twice on there.
I will say, I mean, I think again the mechanics of 5 are still really polished. It's really fun to just drive around in the game. So I can't really knock it for that. But yeah, LA Noire for me was pretty disappointing when I played it. I found it just kind of dreadfully boring in how it executed the detective gameplay. Do you watch Tim Rogers at all?
No.
Okay.
I don't watch people that Björn mentions too much in his streams.
I mean, Tim Rogers, I don't think he's like a great game critic at all. I think he is like sort of basically the way his game reviews are basically just autobiographical pieces. Like he's using the game as an excuse to talk about like challenges in his life. And he did like this 9-hour video on LA Noire. And I was like, okay, I'm open to this. But then it sort of revealed itself to be, okay, this is just a let's play of LA Noire. It's just a play-by-play, like going through every single scene and narrating it in a sort of fake, smoky detective voice. And you're trying to extract humor from it and going for like a little bit of esoteric kind of substance. And I didn't watch most of it, but is the reason I keep thinking about it is because like his entire fan base, they waited 2 years for this video and they all hate it. Yeah.
I respect that as a shitpost.
Yeah.
But a 9-hour video by a gamer about a game that I despise is nightmare content for me. I cannot watch that.
I like that you specified by a gamer, a person who plays video games. Whoa.
By the way,
oh my god. Sorry.
The warehouse mission earlier is not the warehouse mission that I was speaking of.
Okay.
So this is a little bit... Chicago is a little bit repetitive in its settings because like you find the warehouse, then you have a police pursuit and you have to get out of there. You go to your safe house. Jericho comes by because he doesn't like your investigations, so he beats you down. So you have to follow Jericho back to the fucking warehouse, and then you have to escape the warehouse again. It's like they could have done a little bit more with the setting, because I think Chicago has more to offer than just the industrial district. But that's also me being very, very nitpicky about it.
Did you ever play Watch Dogs?
No.
Was that one set in Chicago? I feel like it was. Am I wrong on that?
Oh, that might be.
The first one. I think the second one is San Francisco, which is kind of cool. I'm the idea of sort of virtual... Fuck, what? I was so close to the end. Okay. The idea of virtual tourism in games is more appealing to me lately. Especially, like, I was in Seattle, and now, oh, guess what? There's Infamous Second Son, which is, like, a perfect recreation of Seattle. So now that's the game I'm, like, sort of about, but now that I have that nostalgic connection to the city, I'm like, okay. I can replay it and get something out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really like when a game takes its time to highlight a city that is outside of the US.
Oh yeah.
Because having a big international city outside of the US, those are always digital tourism destinations that interest me a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you know, it's also there's also a feeling about representation and having your city be recreated kind of lovingly in a video game. Like,
Yeah.
I don't talk about it too much, especially not on our podcast. I do have a German podcast with Ziad.
We do.
And I was there for the Switch heist. But like, one of the reasons why I'm kind of sad about Overwatch 2 becoming irrelevant so quickly is because one of its maps is heavily based on Lisbon. And that was like one map in a video game that I was confronted with that really felt like a love letter to where I'm from. And yeah, it's I don't know the entire history why Blizzard screwed Overwatch 2 up and why everyone is now playing Marvel Rivals for some reason. But yeah, that's just sad, but because it made me very happy that map exists. And the first time I played it, I was like overcome with joy.
Hell yeah.
And you know, it would be fire to have like a game that lets you explore a German city, for example.
I'm surprised that hasn't really been done more. I know the Berlin map in Hitman is pretty big. I don't know if it's like a super like rich recreation of the city, if it works in that way, or if it's mostly just for gameplay. Okay.
It's a huge map, but it's just a nightclub.
Oh, okay. Damn.
So yeah, it plays in Berlin and it has like that. It tries to give you some sort of to give you an experience that is inspired by Berlin's legendary nightclub scene, like with the Berghain and such, which is very, very cool. But it doesn't.
It doesn't scratch the itch. Yeah.
You don't get to see the city. It's outside, so you basically get to see the nightclub and a gas station, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that that hasn't been done at all. Like, I cannot think of a single sort of AAA open world game in a big German city. And the next best thing would be like the Wolfenstein games, you know, where okay, you get some. But even then, it's the snapshot, this chopped up snapshot of pseudo Germany. Like that,
Okay.
you definitely get like German inspired things, but never like, okay, this is a German open world game.
Okay, hear me out. I think it's much more likely that we get a Japanese game to recreate a German setting than an American one. Because Japan just loves like the aesthetic of German settings. Like the best example or the most obvious example is Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
And I can't see them like recreating a small German town or anything for a game, or have a setting that is very, very inspired by German visuals and folklore. And Americans are just not willing to have stuff playing outside of the US unless it's London.
So true.
London and Tokyo are okay.
London,
they don't care about the
like
rest.
London, Tokyo, Paris was done a couple times. But that's sort of yeah. Oh god. So, what was I gonna say? I feel like Japanese developers, they don't have this inclination toward detailed representation of a culture other than their own. I think, like I'm specifically thinking, okay, if you get like these sort of like these games where the whole purpose is sort of immersion and like, oh god, okay, where the whole purpose is immersion and like learning things about a setting, it's usually Japan. It's usually stuff like Yakuza or Persona or Boku no Natsuyasumi. Even Okami, right? I remember in Okami there were so many little like things, texts, logs, whatever, where they try to inform you about Japanese culture a little bit, which is cool. I think when they tackle other settings, usually they fictionalize it a little bit, like with Attack on Titan, like you said, yeah.
So, what's very funny is so it's been a few years ago, but I played one Yakuza game. I don't know which one anymore. Persona 5 and Digimon Cyber Sleuth. Funnily enough, all very closely to each other. And those are 3 games that let you basically explore Tokyo in their own way.
Yeah.
And I feel like I know so much about that city and that I could actually navigate myself there, even though I have never been to Japan. It gives you like such a real sense for what you might encounter there, even though the way they present it and the stylization is different in each game. But like, I feel like when you play a few Japanese games like that in a row, you start to really get a feel for the places and the culture. And I guess I get why people like to say that they know how to drive or navigate Los Angeles, even though they've never been there because they've played GTA 5 so much. Because the parts that are recreated well, they really give you the illusion of being able to navigate yourself there.
Yulia and I were heavily considering visiting Japan next year, and she's obsessed with Don Quixote, that like the supermarkets, or not supermarkets, but like there's just little convenience stores. And my first thought is like, I already know Don Quixote. I've played fucking Yakuza. I know that shit like the back of my hand. Cause like even as early as Yakuza 1 on the fucking PlayStation 2, it was weirdly photorealistic the way they portrayed that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Like, I know that the quarter in the Yakuza game is not real, but it's heavily based off a real part of Tokyo.
Kabukicho, yeah.
Yeah. I would love to see it in reality someday. Because, like, it will feel like I'm inside a video game just because of the connotations I have with it. Okay, now you get to the warehouse mission.
Okay.
After this pursuit ends.
I'm locked in.
I'm Solomon Kane. You'll wish you never met me. I hear you.
So, what I think is fun about the warehouse mission
Lenny doesn't.
is that you now got yourself in here, and now you have to escape. And your path keeps constantly being blocked.
Uh-oh.
So make yourself ready that you have to probably hit the brakes a few times and find another way around an obstacle. And it's just funny how your path keeps getting blocked, and you have to deal with the nuisances that this mission gives you. I don't know. I think it's funny.
Okay, I'm ready. Kane's compound.
We haven't really talked about the cutscenes, but they are cheesy, and they give you like the impression of being in a B movie.
Yeah.
And I love that the names of the characters are like so cliche.
Jericho, Kane.
Pink Lenny.
I'll show you Pink Lenny.
Pink Lenny is the funniest. Yeah. That it sounds like a vagina joke.
No! Fuck. Okay, I can already see what you mean. Fuck. This is not gonna work.
By the way, if you have to restart the mission, I think the green car is faster.
Ah, okay. So I'm a little bit colorblind. Is it the one on the left or the one on the right?
It should be the one of the right. The one you're driving now is a brown car.
Oh, okay. Fuck.
Man, I could just have gaslit you. I could just have said any color and you would probably have believed it.
See, brown and green are like those are really bad colors for me to differentiate. Yep. Yeah. Usually when I mention that I'm the
No,
car
it's
that
the left car, not the right one.
okay.
By the way.
Yeah. So the not white roof, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The monocolored
Sorry.
one. Thank you. No. I will mention that I'm colorblind, and then people are like, "Wait, really?" And it's like when you say colorblind, usually people think like, "Oh, do you see like a dog, like black and white or something?" Or no, it's just red green what colorblind is. I have like colors containing red. Oh god, containing red or green. They're a little hard to differentiate for me. So obviously brown is a combination of red and green.
Oh wow.
Differentiating that from green for me is like tends to be difficult.
We have talked about it in private, but I think it's really awesome that you're into developing video games because like you will by design have to make your games more accessible for people.
It's funny with Doom, the Dark Ages, all the footage I'm seeing, right? You have these projectiles, and the idea is that I think most of them are red, and then the parryable ones are green. And like, the thing is, when I just was watching the footage, I didn't realize that most of the projectiles are not parryable. I thought, oh, can I just parry all of these? And then I played the game, and I changed the color of the projectile to purple, so I could actually distinguish them. And it was no, it's just a select few of them. And literally, when I watch other people's footage, I can't tell. I cannot tell which ones are actually parryable. They all look the same, and I had a totally different impression of the game. I had a totally different impression that, oh, I can just run in and parry every single projectile. It's kind of crazy.
By the way, if I'm allowed to make a suggestion,
Yep.
You might want to experiment with drifting in this mission.
Okay.
I think drifting is R1, I think.
I know triangle is the handbrake.
Also, you have probably noticed by now that the challenge of this mission is just that you are navigating a maze.
Yeah.
And that you have to learn which path is getting blocked and how to navigate that maze more
Oh my
quickly.
god, what the fuck?
Because the time countdown will become a problem eventually.
See, I thought it was good on time. I thought it was pretty close to the goal, and then I got to the big blockade.
So as a kid, this cracked me up how all these colored vans spawn randomly, and then you finally get to the mainstream and you can't use it because the bridge is up, and then you have to go through another compound.
Oh my god. This guy is just fucking me. What the hell? Wait, what did I do?
Ah, you made it to the being pursued part. Which is funny because you don't have your felony meter filled up, so you're not being pursued by cops, but by like evil vans. But the way the game shows you that you're being pursued is by showing you the cop light from the cop car. So basically, you're seeing like these funny red cones, but no one that is pursuing you
No
actually has
way.
them on their car. Yeah, that's just the biggest bitch move when you find out that you actually have to go back the entire street and find your opening through another warehouse.
No
which is
fucking way, dude. Oh my god. Okay. I'll say that is pretty funny. That is comedy.
Yeah, the comedic approach in Drive is different from GTA, but they were cooking at times. They were. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Wasn't sure if I did something with my headset.
Oh god.
Also, I don't know if anyone is actually entertained by this. I sure am, because this gives me the opportunity to talk with you about this game. But
Oh yeah. No, I also thought just like talking about related stuff like GTA. It's not. Again, my audience is Japanese exceptionalists, right? They're not usually wired toward these kinds of games, so I think that perspective was fun sometimes.
When you did the good games canon
Yeah.
for the 2000s games,
Yeah.
I put this as my top pick for the year 2000.
Mm.
And you know, sometimes it might seem like I'm doing a bit or I'm trolling too much by being the only one putting a game like this on their list, but I genuinely haven't played Majora's Mask. I don't know what a sin and punishment is. This is the shit I grew up upon, and I think it's underrated.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Your lists are very genuine. It's very okay. These are just games I organically played. We're all, like, most of us are just insane tryhards, and trying to find, okay, what are games that make me look cool? So I think that is very worthwhile as well. That brings some needed variety, even if like it's not represented in the list in the end because like, you know, because votes.
I think you could do a genuine challenge with this game, like who gets to complete it the fastest. Because it is hard. It will get hard by the end. You know, but it's not the typical game that you might perceive as a challenging one, or like a game that is cool to beat in record time, but I think it has potential.
I definitely, obviously we had the big Crazy Taxi arc where everybody was just posting scores every day. We kind of fell off of that. We haven't really found a game since that scratched a similar itch. Currently we're trying to get Choo Choo Rocket working, which is like a sort of action puzzle game on the Dreamcast. But then, like, we've had just so many sort of logistical and just technical issues. So, yeah. I do want to play more fighting games in that context. I feel like just checking out older fighting games, like, have an excuse for that with an actual big group playing them is always ideal.
So it's funny that you're mentioning this, because so a while ago, for those who don't know, because Zia tried out a German language channel.
Oh yeah.
And after the Switch incident, we basically, with the people from our German-speaking podcast, we did a small fundraising stream for you.
Yeah.
Which was by playing Minecraft. And I am kind of wow, well done, you made it. Like we played Minecraft, and it was sort of disastrous.
That was good.
Because Björn and I do not gel well with that game, but like I have been thinking, it would be fun to find like a game for us to play that is like kind of a meme game, of sorts. And I've noticed that I am obsessed with things that I have perceived as being a normal experience that I just didn't have.
Yeah.
And I never had a Counter-Strike arc when it was cool. And now I'm seeing streamers playing Counter-Strike competitively again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it would be funny if we started doing this, and if we just randomly try to get good at Counter-Strike 2.
With y'all, I would do it for sure. If I had like, my brother is like super into Counter-Strike, and he's always pestering me like, hey, you should play this. If I had like a squad to like compare myself against, I would definitely hop on. But also, I did watch the Nakey Jakey documentary on Counter-Strike, and it does sound, oh god, like a journey.
I have an ick to try out like all these games that everyone has played, but that just went past by me, like Minecraft did. So
yeah,
like trying out Counter-Strike, trying out Trackmania, trying out League of Legends. I know we are not going to do that one, but I think it would be funny. It would be content.
Okay, can I say something to the chat that you told me about Björn when we were at the Ethiopian restaurant? You were like saying, yeah, Björn low-key is pretty bad at games. And like,
it probably had context when I said
yeah. See, I'm like, I'm issuing a challenge to Björn with this. I mean, we have, again, on my Discord server, we have a whole thing where we do, you know, supposedly regular tournaments. Obviously, right now, there's a little bit of a hiatus. But, like, my immediate first thought just now was like, why has Björn not done that? Is it because he's a competition dodger? I think, yeah. I think that's the problem. Because I do feel like Björn really gravitates toward games where he can compete, oh my god. He can compete, like, solely against himself and, like, on his own terms. He's like, and he has a hard time with, like, actually man-on-man competition. What is happening with my controller?
So, I know what... I think the conversation that we were having, we're, like, realizing that you, Björn, and I have very different approaches to games and what we want to get out of a game as an experience.
Yeah.
Like, Björn, for example, has a lot of fun collecting stuff, which we don't.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least not as much. I think you have, like, more of that itch to really get inside a mechanic and to learn it and to master it, which I absolutely don't have. And we found out that I am more like of the analytical person. Like, I have fun with games where I get to replay levels over and over and over and to learn my way through them, and that's probably why I gravitate through to stealth games a lot.
Yeah.
Because, like, my favorite franchises are Hitman and Metal Gear. So like, I guess I can say confidently that I'm a stealth guy. I should get into Splinter Cell. I bought a Splinter Cell game recently because that's also something that I should probably catch up upon someday. But like, I immediately gave up because it's old as Xbox and it doesn't really give me a tutorial, and I was very frustrated from the get-go.
They're kind of complicated, yeah. I got pretty far into Chaos Theory. I thought it was pretty good.
I think it was Chaos Theory that I tried. Yeah. But yeah, but in Björn's defense, and I think he's not really a dodger because, like, I know how his ADHD works, and if he catches the bug, he will absolutely put focus mode on, and he will try to find ways to beat people. He is competitive. He's just overworked, man. Like,
that's true. That's true.
He puts all of his time into his work and his craft, and he has to check out so many games per month. And I think he simply does not have the time or he doesn't allow himself to find the time to
Yeah.
really get competitive in something.
That's also what I tell him, though. I think he plays too many games. I think, like, what was the world asking for a South of Midnight review for a game? Like, where Bjorn said, like, yeah, this game's fucking mid, and I beat the whole thing. I'm like, brother, you did have to do this. Yeah, one experience that I really cherished is, when Guilty Gear Strive came out. That was, I think Bjorn and I, we sat down, like, a couple times in private, where I would just teach him the game. And I would teach him sort of fighting games in general. And, I got the sense that he got a lot out of that experience. I think he was very satisfied with that. I think he even said, like, yeah, I felt like this was the first time that I understood fighting games. So I feel like maybe doing something like that for content as well could be, like, cool. I feel like that his audience will also fuck with that.
Yeah, I think it would really be funny if we started a Counter-Strike arc, because I think no one of us is particularly familiar or good with it.
Yeah.
So everyone would have a learning curve. Yeah, I think it would be fun to start playing Counter-Strike competitively, just getting our butts kicked for weeks on end.
That's the thing. I think I'm mechanically very open to it. I recognize that it's a very rich game. But I lack sort of the legacy skill, because I didn't really grow up with PC shooters, so that's one challenge for me. I think Bjorn would be completely uninterested in this type of game. I think this is the exact type of game that he does not enjoy at all. I think for me also the challenge is I don't really like team games as well. So that's a big problem. Unless I mean, Halo is sort of a different thing. But even with Halo, I need to play with friends. Yeah.
But by the way, I'm surprised that you are restarting this mission as often. Because I feel like this is one of the easier missions in the entire game.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just a chill night drive. Yeah, you have...
I think the frame rate is really fucking me. Like, this is
okay, that's
so
fair.
insane.
But you have, like, your countdown clock going down, and I like the vibe of this mission because the stakes are not very, very high. And it's just, okay, have a sweet night drive through Chi-Town. And this is where you will get on the train to Havana by the end. So this is the last Chicago mission. And I think we will have time to see a little bit of Havana, which will make me happy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always like this mission a lot, to just be in a yellow car, driving through the night, seeing Chicago for a last time. You're in the car with your buddy, you're just talking. It's nice.
See, classic moment, you said yellow car, and I was like, this bitch is yellow? I thought it was green. Like...
That is mustard yellow. That is Bodak yellow right there.
That's crazy. I think
I don't
my
know
problem...
what Bodak is.
My problem with this mission is I get lost. I think I did not... The first 2 times I did it, I did not take a good path. My routing is lackluster.
So one thing that is...
doing better now.
One thing that is always helpful is when you see in the card at the bottom that you have a larger cone to actually open up the manual map. Because then you get like a feeling for the route that you should take.
Yeah.
But you can focus on picking easier streets like with less turns. Because the cone will like tempt you to just snake your way through the map and to take it turn by turn. But if you open the big map, you see that you can fairly often just pick bigger streets with as few intersections as possible, and that will make your ride far easier. In Driver 1, this was particularly tricky because like the first map is Miami, and Miami is like on 2 sides of a bay or river, and it's very, very easy to get tricked by the cone because you can only access the second island through specific streets, and the cone might lead you to a place that is very, very far off from that, so you have to open the big map, look where you have to cross it, and then find your way over. So that's something that I learned through playing Driver 1 first. To not trust the fucking cone.
Yeah, I felt like I had a similar problem here where I would just get led to just insane dead ends. But I think I'm doing pretty okay right now. Oh my god. Dude, this game at a playable frame rate. No, that would be something. I'm such a frame rate fascist, unfortunately. Like, I really care about that. Like,
this would have been so gas on a PS2.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm
way,
low-key curious to check out Driver 3.
I suggested back then, like when Björn was asking for Trash Tuesday suggestions, Driver 3 was the very first game that I pitched to him.
Yeah.
And he did it.
It's awesome.
Like Björn has a very, very famous background story that... so the thing about Driver 3 is that it got good reviews.
Yeah.
And Björn is mad to this day that he fell for the good scores that were given to the game, and it's just garbage.
Oh shit, can I make it?
But I hope that if you catch the Havana bug, that maybe you are inclined to give this another play off stream, maybe.
Okay. Oh, I was like literally talking yesterday with Yulia about she was like, yeah, we were sort of analyzing games from a gender essentials perspective. And she was saying, yeah, I wonder what it is about me being like a woman that makes it so that I watch you play games, like play the games that you gravitate toward, and think that they're so fucking boring. These like mechanics heavy, gameplay heavy games. With stuff like GTA, she has a pretty easy time watching it. And I can't quite put my finger on why. It's very interesting.
I think the coolest thing you told me about Yulia is that she fucks with RTS games.
To be clear, not RTS games, not stuff like StarCraft, not like competitive RTS games.
Yeah.
Just simulation heavy building games. Like Anno, Civilization, that sort of thing.
I have also thought that it would be madly funny to convince you and Björn to do a Civilization stream someday, because I think that's something would where both of you would struggle heavily.
Oh yeah, I think the fucking onboarding I did, so it's so embarrassing, but like when I was hitting it off with Yulia, I bought Civilization on the Switch to like impress her. I was like, hey, I'm getting into this game that you like, huh? Look. And I was trying to be like funny about it. Oh, this game's so hard. I don't understand it. You need to help me. What's going on, dude? Bjorn is in chat. And now we're dating, so I think it worked. But yeah, that's how I experienced the onboarding of Civilization, and not gonna lie, I thought it was really unintuitive. But I do have some curiosity to like actually check it out at some point. I am more interested in actual RTS games like StarCraft. So I don't know. Maybe, you know what? So Björn, me and Renee were thinking, okay, we gotta find a competitive game for us to like get into. To like test our mettle, to do a dig measuring contest. I think StarCraft 2 might be a good one, because that's one I want to play anyway. and like I have no experience with RTS, and I know you hate RTS. Oh. So I feel like that'd be funny. That'd be good content.
StarCraft 2 has potential. I see that vision. I still would like to. I still would like to pitch Counter-Strike.
René's, yeah, he's been pitching Counter-Strike, and I because of the Nakey Jakey video, I'm kind of hooked on it. But also it is a team game, so.
Yeah, and I think it would be fun for us to get in something as a team.
Yeah.
Because I think the dynamic will lead to fun shenanigans. Instead of us just straight up measuring our dicks with each other. Also, if we get Riff on this, Riff will cook all of us.
Oh yeah. He has the most experience for sure. Yeah, goddamn. That's a good point.
If Riff puts his mind on a game, he like. I have this idea that it would be funny to beat him in Smash Brothers someday. I know this will never happen because I just don't have the drive to actually train myself in Smash and to find my main and to put hours and hours in it. And no one else is really playing Smash anymore, like from the people I know of. So.
I would cook Riff in Melee. I would definitely cook him. Yeah.
I think you have a chance against him in Melee, but he would cook you in any other Smash game.
Maybe not 64. Maybe not. I think in Brawl we'd be pretty even. In Ultimate probably. He's played way more Ultimate than me. Ultimate is like one of those games where I don't have a main either. Beyond, do you remember when we played Strive? I feel like we need to go back to that. We need to do some one-on-one coaching. I feel like I was saying to René as well. I think that would be good content. We could make content out of that.
I think if you do a fighting game, it would be the funniest to pick Mortal Kombat because both of you will loaf it for a good while.
Oh yeah.
I think Mortal Kombat would be probably the one fighting game where both of you will have to put in work and have a learning arc before it actually gets interesting.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat is where my Japanese exceptionalism will come out.
Björn's as well. I know that Björn hates the series. He just likes watching the gore compilations on YouTube, but he doesn't have like any itch to actually.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, Björn, I was telling you, I'm still really proud of when you said that. I think you said, yeah, this was the first time that I felt I understood a fighting game. Like, I still think of that a lot. Oh, what the fuck? Dude, I don't understand. What? Also, Björn, at the start of this stream, the stream that you're currently watching, I did a little response to your, yeah. I did a little response to your comment earlier. Because, like, when I read it, I didn't understand exactly what you meant. And then I remembered, oh, this is what he's talking about. I was suggesting, you were saying that we could talk about this at some point. And I feel like maybe this might be nice content for your stream. I could come on your stream and we talk about like what I've been thinking of as like mechanical depth and like what that is. I feel like that might be cool. Oh god.
Yeah. We also talked about your schedule earlier.
Yeah. I was like low-key giving you a hard time. I was like saying, bro, you didn't need to play South of Midnight. You didn't need to finish that shit.
But you started that tangent with misquoting me by saying that Björn is a bad gamer. Which I'm pretty sure I didn't phrase it that way.
You said he's like low-key bad at games or something like that. It was something along those lines. Which, it's fine. I also think that. So
I provided a lot of more context for that statement during this stream.
I didn't. I don't need context. See, I'm very happy to embrace my inner asshole. Y'all need to be comfortable with that, I think. Your life will be so much easier.
It's funny because we just know that you're the sweetest person ever, Iron. So we know you're putting us upper play here. So no, we don't buy it anymore. Like I think I got to know you around 2015 and was like Twitter only back then, and everything was like, it was even the shorter tweet format back then.
Oh yeah.
And you really had an asshole.
Dude, like, honestly, dude, my interactions with literally everybody I want to say up until like COVID online were so contentious. Like, I could not have any normal relationships.
It was super funny because both of us had very played up personas on Twitter. That sometimes it just didn't mix well.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's hilarious, like the evolution that we took from there.
Yeah.
Where I now actually consider you one of my closest buddies. And
yeah.
Someone that I'm very happy to have in my life.
Same for me, for sure. I'm happy that it's crazy that our relationship like actually persisted over this long of a stretch, you know, and developed into a real relationship, you know? I'm very happy with that.
Yeah, and it only started because Riff bullied you on the timeline all of the time. So we were kind of present by default in each other's timelines due to replies and retweets.
Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking I'll do one more mission and that'll be the stream.
Yeah. So, but I hope you can at least notice that, like, what I find interesting is that you have a completely different driving feel in Havana, because, like, the map layout is different. The streets are thinner. You have less opportunity to maneuver around. So it's already a slightly different driving experience.
Yeah. I'll say, I think because the streets are a little less dense, the frame rate is a lot better so far.
Yeah.
That's helping
absolutely.
me. That's helping me.
I think there in Havana you have only one part of the map that has like a little bit of loading issues, but the rest of it is a little bit smoother. And I just love the look of the city, to be honest. Like, when you're a kid and you get to Havana and you play it for the first time, this shit is so rad.
We won't know till they meet up with this Rosanna Soto. Look,
Can I just say this whole time I didn't realize I left the music on? Oh my god. The background stream music, I'm so stupid. I didn't realize it because I couldn't fucking hear it because OBS. Oh my god, I hate technology.
Your background music is, by the way, super funny when you're rambling.
Because you can barely hear it, or?
No, because like I was listening to the part at the beginning where you were reacting to Björn, and when you are talking to the chat, like you like to phrase things as open questions, where you say, "Oh, and I think it's like this and that, right?" So you like to end your sentences on a right, and then you have your background music, and sometimes it just perfectly syncs up, and after you say right, the woman says, "All right."
Oh wow.
There was definitely a moment like that at the beginning of the stream, and it made me laugh.
I know the sample that you mean in that track. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's funny. Yeah, this is the Bayonetta 3 menu music. Oh, yeah, Dennis. The thing is with copyright claims, there's things I could do about it, but like I'm too lazy to deal with it. Usually I just trim out the sections in post on YouTube. Oh my god. When they notify
By the
me.
way, one thing that is weaker in Driver 2 compared to the first part is the soundtrack, because Driver 1 has one of my favorite game soundtracks. I think it's so underrated because like it really tries to capture like the feeling of like those classic 70s car action movies. And like it has a Lalo Schifrin vibe all over it. And it's just fucking chill and cool to listen to that.
Oh my god.
And yeah. I mean, you will probably figure out by now that I also gravitate a lot to the Driver series because it's so much heavily inspired by movies.
Yeah.
And especially like very, very specific types of movies that are clearly the main inspiration here. Yeah, Havana has a shitload of truck pursuit missions. And they get progressively harder. Like I told you about the bomb mission. I think it's like the second or after this one or something.
Oh wow.
So when Björn played it, that was a highlight. Because Björn was very, very, very close to tilting at that point, because it's so unfair at times.
Yeah, it took a little bit for me to understand this game, like understand sort of the navigational component. But now that I'm in it, I think I'm getting through it like relatively smoothly.
Yeah, you're doing fine. I've revisited Driver 2 a few years ago. By a few, I mean like probably 7 or something. 7 or 8.
Goddamn.
And I still couldn't make it through Vegas. As a child, I found this game remorselessly brutal. Like Driver 1 is far more forgiving than Driver 2 is. And it's very, very easy to get stuck in Driver 2 if you don't have like the itch to get good at it. But it was a moment of triumph when I replayed it as an adult or like as a student, and that I then actually got to make it to Vegas. That I felt very accomplished by then.
Vegas is not the final city, right? There's some after it.
Rio.
Okay.
Rio is the final.
Cool.
And I think the last mission is a fairly hard one, where you have to pursue the helicopter.
Oh, I have a funny anecdote about GTA 3. My recent playthrough. There's this cheat in the PS2 GTA games called the Riot cheat, where it will just make all the NPCs go ballistic and just attack like both you but also each other for like no reason on sight, and it causes insane chaos. And if you happen to save your game with the cheat active, then the cheat stays active. You can't turn it off.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I was not aware of this. That happened to me. And so the last third of our playthrough was with this cheat on. Every mission was just absolutely fucking insane. And the final mission is one where you have to shoot down a helicopter. And so basically they, it's this gang. They kidnap this lady that you're trying to save. And so her and then the two guys sort of guarding her are NPCs on the map, and they spawn in the second you get close enough. And once they do, because the cheat is active, they will just attack each other and kill the lady you're trying to save. And it's like almost impossible to do that mission, to do that literal final mission with this cheat on. There's a very specific way. The thing is, I imagine, okay, this has to be like a common problem, right? A reasonably common problem. And there actually was a guy on YouTube who had a strategy for it, who he was sort of walking up the walls, along the walls to avoid the trigger point, and then he would shoot guys sort of like shoot some of the enemies with the sniper rifle in advance. And that's how I did it. It's so funny. It's so insane.
So I wanted to achieve two things by suggesting this game for you, Ziad. And the first one is I really wanted to make clear that I think this is an influential middle piece that is often forgotten about when we talk about the evolution of games and how you end up with GTA 3 and the GTA series in general.
Yeah.
I don't think it would exist in that way without Reflections putting in the groundwork with Driver 1 and 2. And also, I really want to make it a point that this is challenging.
Yeah. It's not an easy game.
Get behind with the concept. Like, there are definitely some missions in Driver 2 especially that traumatized me as a child.
I mean, so, yeah. If I had to score this game, I think I do respect the ambition of it. I do feel like it doesn't result in a super fun game. For me, it's just a little too prescriptive, a little too, in terms of the handling as well, it's just a little too heavy for my sensibilities. So, like, I would not really put this up with, like, the best racing games on the same console, like Ridge Racer 4 or something.
I wouldn't even call this a racing game.
Yeah,
This is something different.
This is a car game, driving game. I mean, I guess it's more in that genre of sort of games like, what was that? There's like this series on the PS2 and the 360. I think Beyond's probably play them. Stuntman? Yeah, Stuntman I think is the one I think of. Where you're driving and you're trying to do like different types of objectives.
Yeah, sure. I think that's a fair comparison.
Yeah. Now I've barely played those games either, but Stuntman makes more sense. Okay.
The last hurrah of the Driver series was Driver San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
Which is a game that gets brought up quite a bit, and I think gets also brought up more than the first two. And you know, it shows that there was potential even at the end, that they were like playing with concepts about how making this type of game fun. I low-key wish there were like some remasterings of the Driver series or anything to bring the series back to consciousness, because it, you know, through a nostalgia lens, it means something to me. But yeah,
it's funny you say that, because like Driver San Francisco, like it makes total sense, but somehow in my mind it's not even, I hadn't even connected to the rest of the series. I like totally forgot it's the same franchise. Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, whenever Driver San Francisco came up in conversations, and you know, we talked about it in the 2010s Good Games canon as well. It was always, yeah, this cool driving game with this like mind-jacking gimmick, and like it runs really good on consoles as well. Like really polished racing game, blah. I not once did I have the thought, wait, what about the other Driver games? I like totally forgot they were related.
So what makes the Driver series interesting is that once they shit the barn with Driver 3, and they really had to see that they are not competing with GTA, and that they can't be a series that offers the same that GTA has to offer and stay competitive, because that ship sailed quite early. That they tried to keep the series alive and relevant with like coming up with interesting concepts. Like the next game was Driver Parallel Lines, and which is not a good game, but the concept that they had there is that you're basically playing a story in New York in two different timelines. So you have 70s New York and modern day New York in the same game, which, you know, is a cool idea. And then they got basically to the next level with Driver San Francisco and decided to go full on bonkers.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that there was a series like this that at least tried to come up with cool new concepts and making the driving game genre fun, I guess.
You know, some of the games that got eliminated in our Good Games canon, Driver San Francisco is one of them. Maybe that would be a nice excuse to, like, I could stream those games to give them a little more of a highlight. Maybe that'd be good tie-in. Because I do have it. I have the PS3 version, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I would have loved to see you reach Vegas and what you would do with the insane Vegas missions, because they are beyond hard.
Oh yeah, San Francisco seems way more my vibe. Again, just
By the way,
yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
talking San Francisco, you've been there.
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, you've not been there, but you have like American friends and such.
I do.
Do you think it's cooler to call it San Fran or to call it Frisco?
Oh my, Frisco's so bad, dude. Frisco's so fucking bad. No, San Fran is fine. San Fran is good. Dude, I forgot that Frisco is something that people say. That's hideous.
I only know Frisco as a term through movies when like the cool people say, yeah, we have to go down to Frisco and whatever. And I was just curious if that's still a discussion that people are having, whether to say San Fran or Frisco. Because Frisco feels more boomery, but it also has like,
yeah, it does,
a meme vibe about it.
Unfortunately, I don't really know anyone from the Bay Area, really, in California, so, I can't give you, like, first-hand reports. Like, I have a couple friends in Cali, but, they're all sort of in the LA area.
Oh my god, if you had gotten into the truck,
Yeah.
you would have reset the countdown and you would have made it. You were so close.
Yes, insane. The thing is, I was like, how the fuck are you supposed to do this? Like,
I think it's interesting that the countdown clock keeps running because you already stopped the truck. It's not.
yeah, I thought, so the way I understood it is like, well, there's not that much variation in how much time. What the fuck? Why do I have more time than before now? Why does the timer keep changing? I don't. What?
I didn't look at that, so I can't confirm.
What the hell? What is this game? This is so insane. Are the starting positions different when I restart the mission?
I don't know if you've reached a checkpoint at some point.
That could be. Does this game have checkpoints? Okay.
Okay, the chat has said that most people probably say San Fran now.
See, I was wondering, True, do you mean they say SF as in they spell out the acronym?
Ah,
I feel like I see that a lot too, like SF. Also, Driver 3 for Beach Gen, never. Fucking never, dude. No way. Though it is a beachy game. It is a beach gen game officially.
I will rep Driver 2, but
Yeah.
Driver 3 is a game that you really should play once out of curiosity and to see how bad it is.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Study it maybe as a franchise tanking failure if you interested in developing narratives. I think you could probably make like an interesting documentary about how that game came to be, why it took 4 years to develop it, and what it did to Reflections as a company. But I think there's potential there. That
Yeah.
video has to exist somewhere,
On
probably.
a personal level, I do want to check it out. I just feel like, I mean, Beach Gen specifically is such a goddamn autistic show. Where we just exclusively gravitate toward. Okay, the timer is definitely different. Like depending on, like that's what the fuck is going on. We just gravitate toward these like very technical games and like this very technical analysis of them. So I feel like Driver 3 is just not the game for us. And also, I mean, again, Japanese exceptionalism. I think we covered Deus Ex. I think that is the one Western game we've played on Beach Gen.
Yeah, if you say that it's an autistic video game club, maybe you should focus more on train games than car games.
So true.
Shout out to my fellow neurodivergent people. Yeah, what is interesting about Havana, by the way, is that that is something that I've noticed, is that when you have like these pursuing missions, or you have to find a car or whatever, that they don't always take the same route. So they have alternate routes that they take.
Like, the way I'm understanding currently is that there's a couple different paths that the truck can take, and it decides which one when the mission starts. And some are shorter and some are longer. Like I got the long one just now.
That's why Driver 2 is so influential. It invented the roguelike.
Oh my god.
I can probably not get away with saying that, but it was fun to try.
Okay, I'm gonna give this one more shot. If I can't do it, I'll end the stream. I'm sorry, guys.
Let's go, bud. Final shot.
So you saying Bud? I've been saying Buster a lot. Like, that's how the cookie crumbles, Buster. Yeah. Like,
okay, but Buster sounds like you're
condescending,
being ironic.
Yeah.
not necessarily condescending, but ironic about it.
Yeah.
I think Bud is just a warm way to.
Yeah, for sure. My problem is I can never be sincere, so. Okay, I think I have a good shot this time. I think I lost the guy that was behind me for the most part. Okay.
I feel like when the truck takes this route, you definitely have better chances. You want the truck to be on the wider streets. And you have to make yourself ready that it will take turns at some point. And that's usually when the pursuing car fucks you. And yeah, like Havana has a lot of missions like this where the ultimate objective is to ram the car in front of you. You don't have the pursuer anymore, so now you can focus completely on just ramming the truck.
Do I have to ram him? Or do I just wait for him to stop at some point?
Well, the best way is to wait until the truck takes a turn and then to ram it, because then you do the most damage.
Wow, okay. Beyond's asking what that white guy phrase was tier list. There's shit like, you're barking up the wrong tree, pal. Or, listen up, buddy. Newsflash, buddy.
There was a viral tier list recently, right?
It was a while back, from what I remember, yeah. Oh god, it's over.
I'm not seeing it yet, but I think one of the problems with this run of yours is that you were driving too carefully, because you want to hit the truck.
I didn't.
You don't need to brake when it's taking turns.
I see the first time I got him, I didn't realize it was because I'd done the damage. I thought it was just, the timer runs out, and then that's when he gets out. True Blur is saying, no more Mr. Nice Guy. It's another one. A cup of Joe. Calling it a cup of Joe.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Also,
fuck.
hold your horses, mister.
Hold. Well, okay, I'm cooked. That's it. Wait. If I exit the game, can I save? Because I didn't save on the previous level. Oops.
Oh, then I think you will have a problem.
I do have a problem. I lost some progress.
Björn did the exact same thing. So I think his Driver 2 run on stream ended with him really having to ace that mission so he can save. Because he only saved very, very casually, and
yeah, there was
when you get to Havana, you need to save after every mission if you want to have a good save state.
See, that's the thing. I like knew that there's a chance that this could happen. I like when I pressed exit, I was like, I haven't saved. Will this actually work? And I was like, fuck it. I'm probably not playing this game. Who cares?
Yeah, that's a pity. I would have loved to hear about your Vegas adventures. But,
yeah. I got too filtered.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm happy you played this. I had good entertainment for today.
I'm glad you liked it. Thank you for the request as well, yeah.
And I think the conversation was quite good. I don't
Hell
know
yeah.
if the Bird Gang liked it, but I hope they can perceive me as a more normal person right now.
I got one comment, at least one comment that was like, oh, I'm hearing the German accent, yeah.
Oh yeah. I hate saying the word truck because that's a word where you always notice the German accent. It's
Truck.
like I can't say that word without sounding like Werner Herzog. Like when I hit that truck, it's there is a very, very German pronunciation about it, and I hate it.
Okay, what the hell? Okay, y'all, this is it. This is the end of the stream. I'll be back. Let me check. Almost. We don't really have anything on the docket, sort of for requests or topical things. We do have the Dragon Guard stream goal in the bottom right if you want to donate toward that. Click the link or hit the link you see there. Let me see. I might be Wednesday might be a good day for me. That might be a good day. I'll have to think of something for that though. I don't have a topic yet. We might recap, like I sort of suggested, we might recap Good Games Canon 2010s. And maybe I'll come up with my personal, much better list. But yeah, again, please check that out. Yeah, and thanks to Renee again for suggesting this and for hopping on.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna hit the button now. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye. I'm gonna stop streaming. Bye bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Okay, wir sind offline.
Okay.